Stop into Sportamotive now and get that new Mercury outboard tracker or nitro fishing boat you've been wanting. We offer no haggle, no hassle pricing. Celebrating 36 years in business, we're Sportamotive, your authorized tracker boat dealer.
Do you guys price match? For the love of God, that's like the 15th time today. Matt, I need your help. Matt, I really need you guys to actually like get on a video right now and tell everybody about our price matching, because this is like the 15th message I've gotten today about price matching. So please, for the love of God, make the video.
I don't understand it. I mean, day in, day out, nonstop. Phone calls, messages, Instagram messages, Facebook messages. Do you price match? Can you price match? These guys are having a sale. Those guys are having a sale. Price match this, price match that. We do price match here at The Real Shot. We will price match any of our competitors because we price match. I mean, we're talking price match. Seriously. All these amazing products and all you people care about is price match. We do price match, and that's all I'm gonna say. Get into The Real Shot, bring a competitor's ad, and we will price match. I'm out of here.
Sportamotive, your local tracker boats dealer, wants to get you on the water in style. Stop in or call today and order your tracker boat to assure delivery for the 2022 watercraft season. Stop in.
The Real Shot is Wisconsin's #1 independent outdoors pro shop that specializes in bass fishing gear and tackle. We've got all of the biggest and most sought-after brands in bass fishing all under one roof. Our online shop has a massive catalog of some of the greatest bass products you'll need to find success on the water. We ship fast and nationwide, so head on over and see what we have to offer by visiting www.therealshot.com today.
The Real Shot. Sounds like we've got what you need.
Good to go. Let's throw this down here.
We are live. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, October 19th. Look at this guy. We found the man, Bob Claus from Fin Fanatic Charters. We are out here again, kind of making a ritual out of this fall walleye trip. But we got out here in the Fox River and De Pere, and we are hoping to catch a bunch of walleyes today. So, Bob, thanks again, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Glad to have you guys aboard.
We are excited. So, we were just talking about where we pushed up. There's kind of no surprise. We're real close to the dam.
Yep.
Why is this a good spot to go to this early in the year, or this part of the year?
Well, part of the year, late in the year, and actually this area is kind of that boundary where the bait fish and the fish kind of congregate, right? They can't get above this, obviously. There's no fish ladder here. So in that fall, and we talked about this last year, this fall time frame, there's a huge influx of shad that moves up this river to spawn. and this is where they do it. So we might even snag some shad. I know Sunday we snagged a few shad up in this stuff. They're starting to get up here, and the shad are a little bit late coming because the water temperatures finally started dropping. They've been really high.
Yep.
But when those shad come from the lower bay and move up the river, the walleye come right behind them, you know, and they want to snack on them. That's all they're doing. They're looking to chase these shad up here and eat. So when they come up here, that's their goal, is to eat. Now there's so many places from here all the way to the mouth that will hold these fish, but ultimately when the shad push in tight to this dam, you're going to get a whole bunch of walleye up in here. Now the shad will eventually in a few weeks slide back. Some might die off, some are going to go back out to the bay. When that happens, the walleye that are up here will kind of slide back also, so it might not be as good up in here. But since there's current here, there's always going to be fish up in here feeding. So
we try to do this trip the end of September, and obviously with the weather, but you were up in Oconto area?
Correct, yeah, I was on a pretty good bite in Oconto at the time. And this was starting a little bit. I'd been up here doing some jigging downriver, and it was starting to go, but I was on a pretty good bite up in the Oconto area at the time also.
Well, we're finally getting fall-like temperatures. I mean,
yeah.
Warm spell again today, yesterday, right. But water temps are holding kind of where we're at.
Mid-50s now. We finally got down into that. We're at 56. So, I mean, we were stuck at like 65 up until last week.
Yep.
So that warm water has kind of staged things a little funky again this year. Plus lack of current again.
Right.
Now this year we've got a little more overspill current on the spillways than we did last year, but they shut down all the flow. Haven't really started drawing Winnebago down a ton yet, so they haven't had much for gates open to push current through here, so that kind of stalls it a little bit too. But this warm weather we've been sitting in has really kind of played funky games with these fish.
Right. So now up in this area, you said we're fishing kind of shallow rock. Mm-hmm. What are we going to be throwing up here?
Yeah, I really like to pitch crankbaits. Now you can come up here and jig.
Yep.
You can certainly work jigs and plastics. The hair jigs will work up here. Some guys will throw rip and wraps. You know, if you throw shivers and stuff like that, they're going to get snagged up, probably a little easier. But you can certainly do any of that up here. But it is rocky and it is shallow. I mean, we're sitting in about 4 feet right here. We're off to the side of this spillway in a little bit of a groove. But we're going to slide right up in this current. And when we get up in this current zone, it's going to be 2 feet, 2.5.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing that happens here in the fall especially is this water will fluctuate, right? So especially when there's no gates open, if we get the wind to pick up out on the bay, like at a crosswind or a wind blowing out from the southeast, southwest, it'll suck this water out of here.
Really?
Sure. Like when I was up here Sunday, so we started the day Sunday with it, even Saturday was pretty strong west winds. So Saturday, this water was down probably a good foot from where we're in it right now.
Wow.
Yeah, probably close to that. And Sunday morning when we got up in here, it was down about a foot. There's a rock. It's probably not going to pop out today because I don't think we're going to get that kind of wind.
Yep.
But there's a rock over here that I usually judge how deep the water level is up in here. I kind of watch that. If it gets too low, you got to get out of here, right? I mean, you'll get stuck. You literally get stuck. Sunday there was a guy in a little tiny boat got stuck in those rocks over there. A couple of us were going to go try to help him, but he got out. He managed to get himself out. He was in a pretty small little 14-footer, but you have to watch that. And I've certainly banged bottom in here. I've been hung up over the years at times. It happens. You got to really pay attention to these water levels. So, I mean, I've been fishing up in these rocks for 26, 27 years in the fall. And, you know, and a lot of guys know that there's this boundary, right? This power line boundary that in the springtime you can't fish up here. Right, this is where they spawn, right? Yep. So that is the spring boundary. But this time of year, once that boundary opens up through the summer and into this time of year, you can actually come up in these rocks and play around. But you really got to watch this. When we were at low water levels in like 2012, 13, 14, those years, you couldn't get to where we are right now unless you had a little flat bottom boat.
Really?
Yeah. And there was a lot of stuff sticking out. So over the years of fishing up in this area, you know, and seeing the water lower, I've got in my mind like a pattern of what this looks like, right? Because a lot of this hasn't changed.
Right.
There's an old mooring or a bridge structure of some kind that runs across in front of these power lines that you can't see. For a long time that was sticking out of the water. It's a bunch of iron chunks of stuff. So you know, you kind of keep in mind where some of that stuff is, and some of the things that are a little more obvious are like there's a rock pile right here. You can see that flat spot.
Yep. Ripples.
Yep, it's like a wing dam almost. It's not really a wing dam, but it fishes like a wing dam, very similar in this current. And that's really what we're going to target, are current seams and the little pockets in behind some of this rock. Now there's a bunch of that scattered around here. So we're going to start up here tight and maybe we'll move back and move around a little bit and see if we can get something to go. So
well, let's get to it. So good morning, everybody. Let's try to catch some Fox River Fall Walleyes.
rock on.
I'm gonna have to borrow a snap when I go steal some of your crankbaits.
Yeah. Well, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna, when you come up here in the fall, what size would you like? A little one?
Sure.
Okay, I like that.
Perfect.
Be prepared to lose baits.
And that's why I'm losing baits.
You're gonna lose baits. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now we talked earlier, I do like to, I run a variation of baits up here, a whole bunch of stuff over the years. You can run anything from, husky jerks to small stick baits. Some guys are liking the hit sticks these days. I haven't run much of those, but, flicker shads are fairly inexpensive and probably a staple.
Yep.
You can go anywhere and get a flicker shad. And if you're gonna come up and cast around any of this rock stuff back here, anything with white in it is what I favor. Now you can certainly catch them on the other colors. Fire Tiger is always a good one. But I like baits when I'm casting cranks up here that have white in them. Reason being, I'm trying to do that match the hatch thing because the shad are white, right? Those gizzard shad are very, very white baits. This water's a little dingy, and anything that's got, some kind of white in it, these little white patterns, will trigger strikes. Now, sometimes you might find it's this, white with a red tail, or this purple and white. Sometimes racy shad's good. It does vary a little bit day to day, but in general, I like baits with the white in them if I can. So,
all right,
take your pick your poison.
Good. You pick one now.
Well, let's with this start with one of these guys here. This one maybe. These are kind of a custom job.
Custom one there?
Kinda. That's my custom. Well, so I think it was going into last year. I decided I started running some of these jointed flicker shads up here, and I liked the concept of these fire tails.
Yeah.
And being I wanted a white bait, I wanted something with a little pink in it, so I just dipped that in some jig paint. I took the hooks off, dipped it on just the tail of that white that's like a mouse color or whatever.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So I did a few of those, and then I laughed because I was at one of your competitors' stores this spring, and they have this as one of their, whatever they call them, like exclusives. So
weird.
That one's a little brighter, a little more fluorescent, but
it's like you're onto something. All right, man. I'm gonna see how many times I can snag up or backlash my backcast.
There you go. Yeah. So the other, here's my pro tip of the day, and guys laugh at me, but
I love pro tips.
here's my pro tip of the day for casting crankbaits in the dam at De Pere. Go buy yourself one of these.
Isn't that for getting golf balls out?
No, you'd think so. This one's for pulling hooks and crankbaits out.
Nice.
This extends out, 4 sections long, and you can wrap that around your line and go down and poke the bait out of the rocks. If you get it really hung up. A lot of times when you get hung, you can pop it out. It'll float out, right? But there are times where it gets jammed in there, and I think I paid like $60. It might be more now, but like 4 years ago, and I've paid for this thing many times over.
You can tell it's hardly ever used.
Right. This is always in my boat in the fall when I'm up here casting.
All right.
Saved me lots and lots of baits. All right, let's slide up. You can jump right up front, Matt. Let's see. We're gonna bop right up into this current here.
Kind of busy, everybody, but I will announce the winner today. So thank you very much. We hit over 100 subscribers on the channel. I will announce the winner of this rod today, the Savage Gear Squad Rod. So that'll happen a little bit later on today.
Sweet.
Front of the boat?
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna start with a racy shad. So you can, when you're fishing up in this, you can pretty much cast any direction, right? There are a couple things. When you cast, typically when I cast upriver, I'm burning the bait a little quicker.
Because you
got to keep up with that current. Now this current's not that bad, so there's enough current. You definitely want to crank fast if you can feel that bait vibrating. You want to hit rocks. Don't be thinking you don't want to hit rocks, because you want to bounce this off rocks, right? If I go cross river, I start a little faster and I slow as the bait sweeps back to the boat. And I will cast downriver at times and just go really super slow and let that dig into the current and come slow up here.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of different tactics and techniques to doing this. Some guys like to jerk. It's just a steady reel,
retrieve.
just a steady retrieve. You know, you're gonna bounce off of rocks. If a fish hits it, you're gonna know it, right?
Okay.
There isn't like usually this question one way or the other.
Yep.
I mean, you might think it's a rock, but usually it's a rock that pulls back. It's gonna hit it, and it's doing this. You can bass hook set all you want. Tiptoe and pucker. Tiptoe and pucker. The guys were laughing at me on Sunday up here fishing. I was in between a couple boats, and I put the smoke to her, and I'm running to the back of the boat, like putting power on, trying to get it, especially when they're upriver.
Yeah.
You know?
What are the size class of these fish right now?
It's kind of a mix. We've had a lot of those, and we haven't seen a lot of little tiny ones like those 14s, 13, 14, 15s. 17s, 18s, or 19s, those are in here pretty strong. We've been up in this current. I've been plucking off 23.5s, 24s, 22s.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 25 here with customers about a week ago. Actually, I had a trip probably a week and a half ago where we plucked. I had a customer pull like a 23.5. I unhooked it, put it in the live well so we could take a picture because we were tangled in the net.
Yep.
And as we were untangling, one of the other guys hooked up a fish. I unclipped the crankbait, left it in the net, netted his 24-inch.
Jeez.
Got that one, same thing in the live well, and a second later, the third gentleman hooked up a fish that was like a 23, 24 that came off right next to the boat before I could get there.
Nice big pot of fish moving
Yep.
through.
And these fish will move up and down. They'll kind of slide back and forth in here.
So if we want to keep a couple today, what are regulations right now?
Yeah. So there's always an argument over that because guys don't quite understand it. It is confusing. It can be confusing.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah. So in the spring, everybody knows that the fox, when you get to that, I think it's March 1st roughly, and that date can vary a little bit, but that first part of March until the first Saturday in May, and that slides a little bit too, but that springtime regulation is 1 fish over 28 up here to protect the spawning fish. That's the whole Fox River. Once you get past that date, you have to look at the regulation book. It's in a separate section. It's not under, like, it's not a tributary. It's got its own little regulation for Green Bay fox to pier.
Yep.
Once you get past that date, that time frame, it opens up to 3 fish with no length limit here in the river.
Okay.
Right. The bay is 5 fish with a 15-inch minimum. Here it's 3 fish, no length limit. We asked them, a warden a few years ago, this is probably maybe 7, 8 years ago, why they did that. They kept it 3, because it used to be 3 on Green Bay for a while, right? And then they went to 5 years ago to unify between Michigan and Wisconsin kind of thing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So they kept this at 3 because they wanted to encourage the urban fishing opportunities.
Right, with all the
Correct. All the people that can come here and fish up and down the river banks in the summertime. That way, if somebody catches a 14-incher, they can keep one if they want.
Right.
Right.
All right.
So,
well, let's try to catch a couple.
yeah, let's get one. Let's see if we can get something on. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Test, test, test. We're good?
Test, test.
Got it?
So I'm doing this. What else you been up to?
Fishing. Trying to get other projects in once in a while.
You said you're getting
crazy.
geared up for ice season already?
Well, I want to. I got to figure out when that is going to happen, that gearing up for ice season. Yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind for the last month, and I need to get a bunch of stuff done. So, yeah, it is getting there. I ordered some more rods, I should say, not new rods, some more rods, and I spend the summer once in a while buying new baits to try, and you know, you see all kinds of good stuff that you think might work, and you buy a bunch of it and hope
that it works.
Spend $500, $600, $800 on a bunch of baits and think, oh, those look like they'll catch a whitefish.
Are they thinking that the population is going to be good again for whitefish this year?
Yeah, there's been a series of these meetings where they've been talking about keeping this emergency rule active to increase the quotas for the commercial guys.
Okay.
Which has created a lot of uproar, and I've sat in probably half of those, maybe a little more than half of those meetings. They've all been virtual, and I mean, there is some more stuff coming. They haven't told us what that is yet. I think there's another meeting coming up here next week, maybe. They more restrictions, not restrictions on us, but as guides, they're going to finally put something on the books to make it more mandated that we can have to report our catches. Let's put it that way. Because we're supposed to do that now, but they haven't had a really enforceable law on the books for it. So that's the plan, is to make some changes to sort of force that issue a little bit. Right. So they get more data, and I get that.
Yeah, just help monitor the population.
So it's a pretty touchy subject with a lot of people, and when you listen to some of the comments that come in, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, between the commercial guys, there's this big study going on with the commercial fishermen looking at those catches from, I think it's Stevens Point. There's a girl a college major, she's working on her master's or doctor or whatever. She's been going out with them doing some studies on the whitefish.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things going on there, but yeah, they feel like the population's still
on the uprise.
Yeah.
Or a good.
Yeah, right.
I
So
tell you
we'll
what,
see.
man, those things are a blast to catch.
Oh yeah,
And they're good eating too.
absolutely. So one of the things I do when I'm up here is I really focus on these seams. Now with no spillways open, the seams are a little more subtle at times. But anywhere there's a rock or, you know, a rock outcropping can make a seam down behind us. But up here, all these little divisions in the spillway.
Oh yeah, where the pillars kind of are.
You can see that seam?
Yep.
So I always like to focus on trying to get like across and come back through those seams at different spots.
Gotcha.
Because those fish will like to hang out where there's that little eddy in the seam.
Little less current.
Yeah.
Little less work.
Yep. They're kind of waiting for something to come tumbling by them.
Kind of like with me when I'm on the couch. I don't want to have to fight for my chips.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's been a crazy summer of fishing, that's for sure.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, it's been nonstop. It was many, many days where, I mean, if the weather would cooperate, you could go every single day, be out there, you know, phone call. And the phone calls keep coming in. There's still a lot of people looking to fish. Uh-oh.
Might need a special tool already. That's coming. That might be a fish.
Oh. Think so? Looks like it's.
Yeah, there's a head. There's a head.
Looks like a rock that's moving with you.
Yeah. Yep, there he is. It's yep, there's a fish. Oh, this is a nicer one.
Oh yeah, and you let him get him in that current back there.
The thing about it is I was pulling a backlash out. And my bait was just kind of floating. You want to spin, Travis? He's going around you.
Don't be catching a catfish right out of the gate today.
Is that what it is?
No, I don't know. I mean, does it feel like it's coming in?
Yeah, it's coming.
If it's coming in, it's probably not a cat. The cats usually will take you on a nice joyride.
I'm not feeling that walleye head shakes though. It's right here, whatever it is. Here we go.
That's a walleye.
Whoop. Just pull and drag.
Oh, it is a kitty cat, isn't it?
It looks like one, isn't it? Mostly channels up here or flatheads?
Yeah, you get both, but
That's weird because that bait was kind of floating on top of the current.
Oh yeah, it's a kitty cat. Yeah.
If I can just grab a pliers and I'll hook them on the side. If you want.
We'll net them quick. No big deal.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'll walk backwards.
Come here, kitty kitty. Get your nose up here. Into that. Yeah, a little kitty cat action to start
Slack.
today.
No, I'm just kidding. They're pretty. Just slime in the boat, my man.
Yeah, that's all right. It's not like it's new. Not like it's a new thing. Yeah, let's see, where is he hooked here? There's the key. Holy mackerel. Let's see where he's got that hook in there.
Yeah, right in the corner.
In the corner, he's got it. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Still a few kitties around up here.
Look at that. Ah, they're pretty. All right. I'll untangle this and clean out the net since that's my fault.
See you, kitty. Yeah, I cut a couple on Sunday. A couple a little bit bigger than that one. Nice thing is there aren't a ton of sheephead up here.
That's nice.
I was up here a few weeks ago. There was a gentleman that was right tight in that slack water, and he hit a whole pot of catfish up there. I got her.
Really?
And it was like I laughed because I think he just felt like a little kid in a candy store. He didn't really care. He just kept casting back there, and every cast he had a big catfish on. We were here for probably a half an hour, maybe
Just
a little longer.
cats?
Yeah, that's all he did was catch catfish up there the whole time. He never moved. And I don't think that was his intention when he came up here, but he made it his intention after they started biting.
Now that fish there, that was interesting because that was, like I said, I had a professional overrun in and my bait was just kind of floating back with the current. All right. Now that I did that, I'll do it again. I gotta tighten up my bait caster.
Guys, I haven't had one pop out of this slack water here.
So like more time getting backlashes out and fishing.
Got to wake him up a little this morning here.
There we go. Now we got her dialed in. Yeah, so you can feel it really bouncing off the rocks.
Yeah, yep. You can, and that's key. I mean, you want to make sure you're doing that. You want to be banging off these rocks. Years ago when the water was low, you know, that 11, 12, 13 years, like I said, you couldn't really even get up here. I used to throw a lot of shallow shad wraps.
Oh, okay.
Just burn them in that current, like really burn them down the current. But you weren't up this far. You could kind of work your way around where that iron stuff was and up into the spillway a little bit. But You can sometimes sneak up a few grooves and get a little further up to cast.
I like the theory though, of hitting these slack water spots.
Yep.
Makes a lot more sense.
Yep.
So do the bait fish like run this way with it, or they just push right up those same spots?
Push right up in the same areas, yeah. Well, you can see like the birds are kind of over here a little bit. There were some birds, there's a bunch of seagulls feeding next to the building over there.
Yep.
There's some current coming out over there. So that'll hold a few little pods of bait. One of the things I like to do a lot when I'm up here, if it's not crowded, is to move around a little bit too, right? Slide back, work the seam, slide over, kind of move up and kind of jig jog in and out of this stuff.
Yep. So many more trips you got rolling on for this fall?
Well, I've got stuff on the books into November still.
If the weather holds?
Right, yeah. Actually, I was just talking to a gentleman last night that they want to come up and possibly go do some night fishing in Door County in early November. We'll see what the weather does. And
do you run a lot of night trips?
You know, I used to. I don't seem to get a lot of them anymore. Don't know why.
People just rather come out during the day?
Yeah, right. I mean, it used to be like, especially Door County, that seemed like that's the only time you get bit. You know, because that water was always so clear.
Yeah.
Gobies have changed that world, obviously. You know,
they just bite all day long.
Yeah, you can get them all day long at times. You know, not that the night bite isn't good; it certainly is still. But yeah, I used to do a whole bunch of night stuff in September up in Door County, and in the spring, you know, late summer. But I don't think I've been on a night trip all year this year.
Do you troll on those night trips?
A lot of it's trolling. Springtime, you can do some casting more. Not that you can't cast at night too. You get a lot of strikes right next to the boat sometimes too.
Because they follow it up?
Yeah. Follow right down in and they'll slam it as you're getting ready to pull it out of the water. I've never tried like figure eighting. It probably would work based on how many fish I actually hook up right next to the boat sometimes. Wow, I can't believe we didn't have one bite out of this corner right here.
Yeah, but if you remember last year, it took us a little bit to get hooked up too.
Yeah, the sun's getting up. It's going to warm it up a hair and kick these fish in a little bit, I think, too. We'll keep bopping around. We're going to slide back and move over a little bit. When I got up here Sunday morning, I was back a little bit further, but my first cast into this corner, I stuck one.
Just like that?
Lost it right at the boat.
But you stuck one.
But I had one on. It was right away. But then I did go for a little dry spell. I think I was probably a good 30 minutes before I had another bite, maybe a little more.
Water temperature, like the water warming up, sunlight play a big role into this stuff right now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had 41 degrees this morning when I got up.
Yeah. Yeah, the cold temps they're nice. I mean, we've been waiting for it to seem like fall, right? Whether you're deer hunting or fishing. Everybody you talk to that does either or, they said the same thing. Like this warm fall has been just not good, you know. Not what you want, really.
Right. Well, we saw that during PWS this year. I mean, it was everywhere we went. Mother Nature just didn't want to play.
I mean, I can't complain. Summer was a solid bite. I mean, I only had a couple days. I think I had 2 days where we did not catch a walleye on trips. And not that it doesn't happen. I mean, it certainly does. Anybody, guide or whatever, anybody ever tells you they never catch, never have a skunk day, they're full of poop. Yeah. I mean, but I can honestly say, I mean, like I had 2 days where we struggled, and for whatever reason, one was like a big cold front that come in, and I was a little surprised that day because the conditions weren't outrageous, and we really struggled. But I mean, the day before I had done well. That day was a real struggle. I think we ended up with like 1 perch, and then it might have been 2 perch, 1 or 2 perch. That was it. The next day I went out and just it was like it turned on again.
Just crushed them again.
Yeah.
That's why it's called fishing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This just got started up here, didn't it? Again.
Well, it's been things have been a little weird this year. Travis and I were talking before we started today that this summer, like sometime in June, they opened a couple gates up because we started getting all that rain from here down through the valley.
Okay.
I mean, I know not everywhere in the state really got hammered like we did, but we were getting those. I mean, I remember I was fishing in 2 days of downpour. It seemed like, everything got soaked, and then that kicked it off, and they decided to keep the flow going. So they had 2 gates or 3 gates open. And they had those gates open almost all summer.
Really?
That increase in flow in here, drew some fish in or held fish here that were up here.
Yep.
And guys were coming here in August and catching some fish casting, catching some fish jigging, trolling downriver. There seemed like a good batch of fish that kind of hung out. It doesn't always happen that way. I mean, there are some years where these fish will stay till May and then they bug out, and you'd be hard pressed to catch a walleye anywhere near here. You can come up and catch smallmouth. Yeah, I mean, this is a great smallmouth spot. I mean, my first couple weeks fishing here in September, we'd get 10 walleye and probably 10, 12 smallmouth a trip. Now that the water's cooled off, you don't see the smallmouth anymore. But
are they pushing out to the lake then, to the deeper holes?
Yeah, they're sliding out. You still might get one once in a while, but not as common.
Do the white bass come up here this time of year too?
Yeah, you get some white bass. All of a sudden you'll get an influx one day. They'll be popping white bass like crazy. I've seen it where crappie come up in here.
Really?
Yeah. The one thing about fishing up in this water behind the dam is you do really never know what you're going to hook into.
Well, they're
sometimes.
just following, like you said, the bait fish.
Sunday morning, my first cast, hooked up that walleye, lost it. About 5 casts later into that corner, I hooked a king salmon.
Really?
It took off down the spillway, it came out of the water like 5 times, and then threw the bait out.
What?
Yep.
Any muskies up here this time of year?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're following the food too. You'll catch it. There was a guy Thursday or Friday fishing over here somewhere that I saw playing around with a muskie, a small one, like a 35-incher or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I caught us. We back end of the month, end of September, before I went up to Michigan for my anniversary trip. I was up here with customers on Thursday that week, and we caught a small king male.
That's
we
insane.
boated it. The guys kept it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you just got to remember you need a trout stamp. If you're gonna...
Right. Right.
Yeah. Don't come up here thinking you're going to catch a bunch, but they do come in here. I think Sunday in that tournament there was a 25-pounder, give or take, caught.
Up here?
Yeah, right over by the building.
I suppose. Does that building put out warm water too?
I don't think it's necessarily warm water. I don't know that I've ever seen a big temperature change over there. I think it's just current. They use the water and it comes out in a form of some kind of a current. They're pumping it out. It's paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's not a discharge per se of warm water. I've caught lake trout up here in the fall. I mean, there's just steelhead. I mean,
you name it.
They all show up at some point, playing around a little bit. You know, I mean, I wouldn't come up here thinking I'm going to catch a bunch of them,
Right,
but
not targeting them.
no. But you can certainly have them show up and grab a crankbait.
Start catching them, man. That's what I love. You just never know what you're gonna catch up here.
Yeah, it can be pretty entertaining. And they do get pretty, the walleye get pretty spunky when this water temperature drops too.
I'm sick of struggling with my bait caster right now. It's been a while. It's been a hot moment. I'm gonna grab one of your lucky rods.
Let her rip, let her rip.
Struggle busting it this morning.
It'll be interesting. I mean, the last couple years with the water being higher, guys have become more brave in coming up here. If the water drops again, you know, we'll see what happens. You definitely got to be careful. I mean, plenty of guys on Sunday were playing around up here and banged up their motors a little bit when that water dropped. I mean, you can see, so there's that rock. That pelican and that seagull are sitting on that rock over there, or cormorant, whatever that is.
Yep.
So right now it's still underwater, but that Sunday that was easily a foot out of the water, if not more.
You see that, Travis? He's talking about those rocks over there. That's what he uses when he gets this close to judge the water depth when it starts to drop.
Yeah, there's one individual big rock right over near that walkway. There's a pelican sitting on it right now.
Oh yeah, right over there.
Yep, that's the one that'll pop out if this water gets sucked out. And that plays games with the fish too, right? If that water, when that water got pulled back Sunday, the few of us that were fishing up here, our bite slowed. Not that it was hot and heavy right away, but I mean, anything that was going on slowed up. And I could see all the guys fishing back here all of a sudden popping fish.
Because they were moving out of here.
And all the fish kind of backed off a little bit. Then we had the wind pick up and kind of pushed in here, and the water came up about a foot, and then the bite up here went nuts. All the bigger fish that we caught were probably from noon or 11 o'clock on once that water started coming back up again.
Tiny FG knot, huh?
Yes. Yeah, as long as I can, I'm gonna sit in the living room and do it.
Right.
If it gets too short, or if I break it off out here, then I'll just tie back-to-back unit knot. It's a little easier out in the boat. Come on, Wally. Where are you hiding this morning? I did pull my shallow shad wraps out on Sunday when this water got so shallow, and we're banging those through the rocks up here and caught some fish on them. It's been a while since I've used them.
Had to knock the rust off and the dust off them a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to think. I can't think of the last time I've been out fishing. So now, end of the week, there's another cold front moving in. Will that help pick this up again?
Yeah, the water temperature's dropping will kind of keep this going. I mean, depends on the wind direction sometimes, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we want to keep seeing is these colder fall temps pushing in, pushing more fish that are out in the lower bay up here, start chasing more shad. Because the run of shad really just kind of started. There's been bait fish up here, but they've been little shiner minnows. For whatever reason, we saw a huge influx of little shiners out on, excuse me, out on the lower bay this summer. There were times where I was fishing on different reef structures that in the morning you'd get there and on top of the reef there'd be 40, 50 birds
just
plucking all those little shiners, and the walleye were throwing up little shiners in my live well about that long.
Really?
Yeah. And those fish all moved up here over the last few weeks. The shad have just missed them.
Just got doinked?
Yeah. The shad just started kind of moving in this last couple of weeks or last week when the water temperatures dropped.
You know what happened last year, Travis, right? When we switched, you started crushing them.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. I'll be
Oh, that's not a walleye.
Catfish?
Yeah, that's either that or a snag carp. I don't know if that fish even bit or if I hooked it in the head.
I'll be the net guy this time.
He's not happy either.
Maybe it's a muskie. Yeah, maybe it's a king salmon. Look at that thing run.
Thinking snagged catfish.
You can go up there, Travis, if you want.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit.
Still get that. I know.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you should just keep casting. You'll probably get a couple of walleye before this even comes close or pops out.
Oh man, I love it. You're gonna come down here to land it though, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll go down that way somewhere.
I'll keep the net down here.
I'm hoping it just comes unhooked. Oh, there we go.
Hey, come on.
Yep. Well, the only good thing is after cast, he took my line all the way up into that current.
Yeah,
just reel it back.
I'm just cycling through the rods. Was that off of a bounce? Like, did you bounce off a rock, or did it
I don't know. I think it just literally pulled right into him, and then I felt it pull back, so I set the hook. But you'll get a big carp once in a while. That felt like a catfish hook funny.
Did you get a chance to fish any tournaments this year?
Oh yeah.
How'd you do?
It was it was okay. I mean, we didn't. Yeah, I think like the Sheboygan Walleye Club stuff. I don't know where we ended up. I don't know. We're not in the top 10 or anything, but we had a couple good tournaments, a couple that were slow. We didn't blank any tournaments, so that's good. We went over to Huron for the NTC this year. That was in July. So I added another notch in my Great Lake walleye fishing belt. That's the first time I've been over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I only got to go to Ontario now and catch walleye, and then I'll have covered all the Great Lakes.
You got them all covered. Did you do your, you said you went up north for your anniversary instead of Mississippi this year?
Correct. We went up to Copper Harbor, Michigan this year. The goal was to go try catching splake.
And did you succeed?
No, because it was so warm.
Oh, right.
I mean, the water was like 66, 67 in the harbor. And right the first day we put the boat in, I'm like, yeah, we're not going to find any splake here. This water's too warm. We did go out on Lake Superior, and it was 2 nice days. We poked around, caught a couple lake trout. We had fun. It was beautiful out, and did a little sightseeing. And we got rained on the last couple of days. We did go fish one of my old stomping ground lakes inland, and my wife missed them. My wife got excited catching. I put her on a smallmouth bite. They're all that big. She was so excited. Small, every one after the other. Vertical jigging smallmouth.
Really?
Yeah. She got a little walleye too, but the smallmouth were
What
biting.
she was catching the most.
But again, the water was so warm, it was weird. I don't know if they had like a partial turnover and then it got warm. It was just kind of an oddball time up there, but it was all right. We had fun. I really messed up actually, and it dawned on me the second day we were there that I had blinders on. I was very focused on preparing to splake fish.
Yep.
And trying to do that I didn't even think about really bringing a lot of my lake trout stuff to go target lake trout specifically out on Lake Superior, and more specifically make the run out to what they call Standard Rock.
Okay.
That's that reef that's kind of out offshore out in the middle of Lake Superior, that huge lake trout spot that's hard to get to, right? It's 40, well, from where we were, Lac La Belle is like 35 miles by boat one way. A lot of guys will go out of Marquette. I've been there out of Marquette Harbor in my boat. It's like a 45-mile boat ride one way. Yeah. But you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's a lighthouse and a reef structure, a 5-mile-long reef. It's classic find them and catch them fishing usually, because those fish aren't targeted that much.
Okay.
So you go there and you drive around, mark them, jig for them, and catch them pretty much.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of, a lot of guys will consider it somewhat of a bucket list trip. There's only a handful of charters that run out there. And to go out there in your own boat, you got to have the right weather, right? Being that far offshore on Lake Superior, you got to plan, make sure that the days are right and the wind is right.
And the whole time you were there, everything was setting up?
Well, yeah. Our first day, we were inside the harbor looking for splake, because that was the mission. And we spent the better part of the day driving around seeing nothing. Clear water and warm water. And then I said, well, let's go take a ride out to, I can't think what the island. The Manitou Island is off the tip of the peninsula. I said, it's only like 12 miles or 11 miles out of the harbor to go out to Manitou. Let's go take a ride out there and see the lighthouse. So it was more of a little sightseeing adventure. Yeah. And we got out there, I'm like, oh, some nice structure here. We should try jigging. I did have some stuff along. So we jigged for lake trout and still didn't even click that we should have done something like gone to the rock.
Right.
Because Lac La Belle is like one of the 2 closest ports to getting out to the rock. And that's just south of where we were staying. And then the second day, we put the boat in and I said, let's just go out on Lake Superior and do some lake trout fishing. So we were out there. The wind was supposed to pick up by like 11, 12 o'clock. There were some storm fronts coming, which it did. But we got out there that morning, it was just flat calm.
Really?
And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, we really messed this up. We should have planned to go out to the rock for a day. Because we could have run out there the day before.
Explain again what the splake are.
Splake is a hybrid, lake trout and brook trout.
And how big do those typically get?
I mean, 24, that's probably a good size, a bigger size. They maybe get a little bigger than that. Maybe 30 is a big splake. That's really one of the UP and those areas are some of the areas that people go up there and just target them in the fall, because they come in and, in fall is when you do it, a lot of it. They're coming in to do their annual fall eating, and basically.
And
they'll come into the shallow harbors when the water gets cool.
Is the splake a little bit better eating than some of the other fish?
Yes, yeah, guys really, guys will go up there and catch 1 or 2 to keep to eat, and then usually release the rest if they can, if they're shallow.
Is that like a grill fish or
yeah,
perfect size?
Yeah. Bake them, grill them. They're very good. As a kid growing up, we had splake. My dad would get some. You get like Lawrence Baraga, you can target them. Anywhere along the Lake Superior shoreline, there's places you can do it. Copper Harbor is kind of one of those, become more of a little destination. We saw a lot of people fishing. By a lot, I mean like one other boat and some people from the docks. It wasn't like, okay, There's been a few YouTube shows filmed fishing splake up there. And I know a few guys that go up there every year and try to do it. But again, it was such a warm fall. It was just
not good conditions.
Yeah. It's probably good now.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got so much time. Why aren't you going up there?
Go back. Drive all the way back to Copper Harbor.
Yeah.
Problem is, like up in Copper Harbor right now, a lot of places are shutting down until snowmobile season starts, because the fall colors are probably close to being done.
Man, it really turned out to be an awesome day. Holy man.
I know, I'll have to take my bibs off pretty soon.
That's what I was thinking.
on, Wally. Where are you?
When you're bouncing off these rocks, how often do you retie?
I do try to look once in a while, see how
Make sure you got
nicked up like this. This one's not too bad, but yeah. If it gets nicked up, then definitely got to retie. But you may not even realize it, you know. It's not like I'm checking every cast. You certainly will break off.
Are you still doing graph seminars and everything like that in boat?
Yep. Yep, that usually goes crazy in the spring. I did a bunch of them this spring.
Were you able to get the active stuff?
Yeah. Finally. Yeah, it's just, I mean, what a year, right? It's just nuts. You couldn't have predicted some of that, but yeah, I ordered mine in March. I got it. It showed up like 2 days before I went to Copper Harbor.
So you had to learn it all up there?
No, I didn't have time to put it on. I actually just got it mounted like 2 weeks ago. And I played with it out here a bunch. It's in the back of my truck right now. I took it out for today.
Okay.
But I have it on a pole. The mount is right next to you there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to put another track, I think, right here. So I can put it on the front too and move it around my tracks. So, yeah, I've been trying to fine tune mine and play with it a little bit. It's pretty cool. I sat and the thing with it is, oh, there we go. When it comes to guiding, I'm still a little bit up in the air as to how useful it will be for me when I have customers.
Right. Or will it be more frustrating?
Right. Oh, it's a walleye hooked in the side.
Oh!
Not in the mouth.
You want to, yeah.
I'll just lift them in here.
You want me to net it?
No, I got it.
Oh, that's a nicer fish.
Not in the right spot, though.
So do you think that fish swiped at it?
Absolutely. It felt like it came off a rock and he whapped it,
Just
but
smoked it.
he did not get it in his, which always amazes me how they cannot get a hook in them when they hit it like that.
Right. That's a nice fish. What do you think? That's about 18?
Yeah, 18 incher.
Fancy start.
Well, we know they're up there.
Yep.
Just need them to start attacking a little more here.
All I want to do is just net one of your fish.
All right, we'll get one here. I've been moving this around a little bit here and there. Yeah, so that's my debate in my head. Scouting wise or tournament fishing, you know, obviously there's some good advantages.
To using it.
Right. I do think when I'm on like certain jig bites, I think it'll be kind of key. That's why I like to have mine on that. I'm going to keep it on a pole so I can move it around the boat. So my thought is to have it in that very small track in the back when I'm jigging like off the back of the boat with people and you can watch what's going on. I've talked to a few different guys that have used it consistently about, you know, using it when I'm trolling to see what's going on out in front of the boat, or even when I'm doing that rigging technique, have it pointed forward. You know, because I'm back there by the console, but have it like on the side here, pointed forward.
See if you're going through a school.
See if I'm going through a school instead of, I mean, I watch my graphs now when I do that and mark fish as we go through them with the imaging and, you know, the regular sonar, but.
See what depth they're at.
See, you know, a buddy of mine was telling me that he used his for kind of doing that like he was rigging in Oshkosh area, and he could see a school to the left or right, and he would steer his boat that way.
Yeah.
Which I get it. The thing with, but again, that's like, you know, two people in a boat, you're whatever, pre-fishing for a tournament or something. It's a little different than when I got three guys and I'm trying to focus on
Right, making sure
people are doing the right things and catching fish, and if the fish are biting, I just don't. You know, I don't see myself worrying about what's going on this, you know. But it's definitely a tool. I mean, it's been cool to sit and play with it the last couple weeks at times.
Well, it was awesome to watch all our anglers use it this year.
Absolutely.
And to use it really efficiently.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey Heiser is one of the best Lowrance guys that we had this year, and
Yeah.
you really did a nice job.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac has made a science out of it.
Yeah.
Max, you know, and Josh, obviously. Certainly, like I said, in those applications, it's almost invaluable. You know, if I was doing that, I could certainly see that becoming an everyday tool.
Right.
You know, to point, if you're doing that, you're targeting those things on structure like that, absolutely.
Oh. Something just tried to jump that falls over there.
They try to go, probably a salmon.
That looked like one.
Yeah. The salmon try to get up there when they're up here. That's where you can more consistently see them farting around, is on that. Let's try a little color change here. I haven't really watched behind us if anybody's catching any fish or not. Let's try this guy out. Now, if they were to decide to open a couple gates, that kind of changes the game up here a little bit. Like if they open gates closer to that spillway, it blows a bunch of current through this midsection, and then you can actually fish that seam or those seams that are created by the rocks through there. So right now that's kind of like flat. There's not a lot of current.
Yeah.
But if they do that, those fish will move around on those seams. Usually within a day or so, they'll readjust and hit that stuff.
Now, if you were gonna motor over there, would you have to go like all the way out and around to get up in that?
Right now, no. Well, you can't go where that rock is that the birds were on. You can see it kind of splashing in a little bit.
Yep.
That's pretty shallow. But you can go this way through here and over. What's going on? I've got we weren't anchored anymore all of a sudden. Must have bumped that. That's all right. We'll work this current going back up here.
Definitely feel the rocks a lot better over here now.
Yeah. Surprised there's not more boats out today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. You'd think it would be.
I figured with everybody saw the forecast, they'd be out here playing around before the weekend gets cruddy.
Right. They're starting to come now a little more.
Yeah.
Even like those seams have kind of changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm. like right here, we're getting up against this slack water. There's a little bit of a shallow rock over here, just this side where this stuff is sticking out.
Well. Oh, ah, it's got smacked. Gosh darn it. It was a weak, I don't know, his hook sets are pretty impressive. It was weak though, wasn't it? I just feel weird this morning. It's been so long since I've gone fishing, I feel like I'm out of place. That one hit right off a rock.
I've donated lots of crankbaits over the years to the bottom here.
When it gets shallow, can you come up here and like see them? Is it that shallow or not? Like the baits I'm saying, like are everybody snagged up?
I don't know. I mean, if the water was clear, you probably could, yeah. Eventually, usually they'll float up. There's a few guys that'll walk these riverbanks in the spring and the fall.
And just get all
because in the spring, everybody's down below the power lines casting crankbaits, right?
Yeah.
And you'll break off the guys will walk these riverbanks every day. They're retired and just pick them up and then sell them. I've been to like a flea market in Shawano where the guys got them $2.50 a bait.
Right. I mean,
I'll walk up and look at them and go, I think that one's mine. That looks like my swivel on it.
It's got the red tail.
Right. I've been tempted over the years to like put my initials on them.
You should see it. You should. That would be awesome.
Run into that guy and see if he's got any of mine. I should get like a 50-cent discount.
Yeah.
For already previously owning the bait.
Yeah.
I think there's even somebody that'll, in the spring, come sit down at the parking lot and sell crankbaits off a board that he found her and, you know, walk the shoreline and find them.
Yeah, all you gotta do is put no hooks on them.
That's right, yep. I mean, once in a while you'll be downriver and you'll have one come floating by. Float up out of the rocks. I've got pictures somewhere. I think it was 2009 or 2010. I'd have to go back and look. We had in October, tropical depression hit, kind of like that storm that everybody talks about, the Armistice Day storm in the Mississippi stranded the duck hunters, and that kind of thing hit us in October. I think it was like 2010, might have been 9, and then the water was already, back then was low, right? It was lower than it is now, and this was sucked right out. Like downriver, I've got some awesome pictures. Like you couldn't launch a boat. The landings are all exposed. And there was probably 50 to 80 yards of mud along the shoreline that was, like that water was all the way. Some of the areas it was river channel only. You could just see the river channel. It was all mud, shallow mud.
Really?
Yeah. Like downriver on the other side of 172, I put my knee boots on. I walked the shoreline. You could like walk. All those people that have boat lifts along the shore were all sitting high and dry. It was all just mud.
That was, you said 2008, 2009?
I think it was like 9 or 10, something like that. But I was down here looking around that day. I thought, you know what? it's all this shallow water. I'm coming up here and I can walk around here, pull crankbaits out. I mean, this has got to be all exposed.
Yeah.
Well, I got up here because they have to keep the flow going. They had every single one of these gates open.
Oh.
This looked like Niagara Falls. I've got a picture of it because of all this rock. It's like layers of rock, right? This is shallow rock, a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper going out. It was just a cascade of falls because they had every single gate wide open.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, well, obviously you're not walking.
Unless you want to end up downstream.
Right. Unless I want to go down river fast. But I've got some awesome pictures of it somewhere. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
What's that cormorant doing? Like airing himself out over there?
Yeah.
Looks like the bat signal.
Yeah. There was a goose swimming around here this weekend. It looked like he was wounded. I was kind of swimming back and forth in here, and he didn't look all that healthy. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, that's not the right fish. Come out, you.
I just saw a carp jump too.
Oh, not good.
I love how they get you in the current right away. I'll go to this side for you. You can go to that side.
That one felt like a solid hook set too.
Yeah, you really got into that one well.
It felt like it bit, actually. This might be a cat that...
He just knows instantly. Oh man, there's another catfish or carp.
Oh, just come unhooked already. Oh, there we go. Yay.
Got off? Again?
Okay, don't cast right there.
They're loaded up there. Should we go for a double? Look at it. There's no
Right?
control in it right now. I want to get up there. I know.
Oh.
Oh, I got off again.
Oh, I think that one broke off, actually.
Oh, I lost another one.
Yep. Broke it off. Grab a...
Ready, Travis?
Oh, the fun. Every year I get people always asking me, like when we hook sheephead, you know, do you kill them? Should we kill them? My answer is always no.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to do anybody any good.
No.
And it's not like you're going to deplete the population to a point where you're not going to get them anymore. And
The thing about it, it's just like carp shooting, right? Like, you got to control the population, but when you just start leaving them lay all around, it just looks bad.
well, with sheephead, the thing that I've always noticed, especially in 15 years of guiding, that, and I learned this pretty early on in my guiding days, that kids don't care what they catch.
Nope.
And if I got a couple kids in the boat and we're only catching sheephead and they're smiling,
It's a successful day.
it's a win, It's a win for dad or mom. It's a win for the kids. I mean, dad might want a pile of walleye, but one of the first few trips I came up here this fall, I had like a 10-year-old and his dad and grandpa, and we caught a couple walleye. We had a couple smallmouth, but that kid caught a 15-pound sheephead.
Really?
No.
And had a blast doing it.
Yep. Cast on a crankbait. I think his smile was bigger on that sheephead. What do you got?
Oh, no. We're dialed. We're dialed now.
I don't know. Maybe not. Is it coming in or no?
Yeah, it's going downstream now.
I don't know. We got catfish laying there or what? Oh, yeah, same thing I had.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah.
It's king salmon.
Pink salmon. There you go.
See, now I'm going to fight this one out. I'm not just going to try to lose it. We might be here a while. Here we go.
Tire him out.
It's trying to swim over by the birds. That's a terrible idea. Gonna get eaten. You got enough line on this thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Wicked tuna!
Yeah.
I see color. Oh, here he comes. I want to see what they are. You think it's carp?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's catfish laying there.
Travis, can you see how far out my line is? Oh, is it bad?
Oh yeah, that's
He's
a bad
coming
angle.
on the down.
Is he coming in though?
Yeah, he's coming now.
All right.
Never know, it could be another tailhook walleye. Here, my line's actually getting down where you may be able to see it with the camera. Let's see how good your skills are. Like, it's straight out from that bridge. I think it's a carp.
Yeah, could be.
Just the way it's swimming. Boy, you should use a pair of relevance today, Travis. Gosh. 21% off on therealshot.com. Oh, there he
Are we making progress yet?
We're getting there. Here, we're gonna edit this part out and make it a big old walleye. Oh, now he's got me in the down. Oh, there he is. He's on top of the water.
What do we got?
Get on him, Travis. Get on him. Banging. See it?
I think that's
Oh,
a
it's huge.
kitty cat.
Big catfish. I thought I saw scales like a carp. Coming up behind you. Yeah, see his tail? A big carp.
I'll just stay up here and try to
Tail
catch a
hook
walleye.
carp. You see it? Oh, it's huge. Here he comes. Or maybe that is a big cat. Oh, you see it? I can't tell what it is. I think it's like a 40-pound carp, dude. And a walleye. Right. It's at the office. Somebody want to run it out real quick? Rob's probably all mad up front. Stop catching these stupid carp. You hear it? See it? Here he comes. Oh, it's a big common. Holy man. Big old common.
Yeah, carpish.
Drain the tail.
All right, you do that, I'll catch this walleye up here.
Oh, get on him. I did that for a reason.
Is that why?
That's why I see how many walleye can you catch when you're hooked up to it.
Well, that's a
There
nice
we go.
fish.
Here, I'll come back here. See if we. He's got the bait pretty good. There's a walleye.
Yeah. See, I took this carp out of there, so now the walleyes are
That was the
moving
good plan. How close are we with your carp there?
He's right here. I might be able to get them both sides. Don't worry about netting it.
There you go. That one was in the mouth.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
a nice eater.
Nice job.
You guys want to keep a couple, right?
Sure.
What's the plan?
Sure, sure.
All right, we got to throw them in here quick.
Yeah, which one has got to move?
Both of you got to just a hair. I get it. There you go. You're good.
All right. He's coming. Holy.
Almost got him?
Yeah. I worked this hard.
In this tail, too.
I worked this hard. I just don't want my bait to pull out right here.
Look at the size of that thing.
Where are those when we go on all these bow fishing trips? Dude, he is like barely hooked.
All right. How we doing?
Good, good. He's right in the tail, so I can. He's just in a good spot, right in the current.
Oh, yeah, that's a chunky one, isn't it?
Holy smokes! Here he comes. Holy man, this is bigger than I thought he was.
That's the 30-pounder there.
Oh yeah, he's a monster.
Maybe not quite, but
That's a good knot.
Is this so I get leverage on him? I don't want to snap this rod. I'm gonna try to keep him in the slack water behind the boat. Jesus.
it's never easy when they're in the tail either.
Nope.
Come here, fish. Here, we'll see if we can scoop him with the head first.
All right, I'm backing up. Just watch his hooks.
Yep. In the net. Should have brought my salmon net today.
Holy man! Look
Okay,
at this
the crankbait
size.
came out.
Let me get these out so when he starts flopping.
At least these ones don't bleed when they touch the bone.
Right.
There you go.
Jeez Louise. Come here. You don't like that. All right, we're going right back.
Oh, yeah.
All those bull fishing trips. We've been trying to target one of these.
That's funny. Oop, there, caught a live well. Well, yeah, we know where the carp are laying.
You're right. You think you got that nice floor? You can just spray it right out.
Yep.
Well, that was fun, but now we can go back to trying to catch some walleye. I'm gonna retire. This little tool right here, we talk about it time and time again. This thing is so awesome. See here, just, I don't know how you can see that, but right behind my hand there's a bunch of nicks right here. So, there you go. That's 2 walleyes in the boat.
One in the mouth, one not in the mouth. A couple misses. We do get the question all the time about, you know, keeping fish out of the Fox River. I mean, everybody knows that over the years there's been this restriction on the fish up here, right? PCBs and the cleanup that went on for a dozen years. But even before that, most of these fish they're not resident fish, right?
They're all lake
fish. These are all fish that came up out of the bay. So you could have that argument with guys over the years, like, well, I wouldn't keep anything out of the Fox. But if this fish was sitting on, you know, Frying Pan Shoal,
yeah, then
2 weeks before that, they had no problem putting it in the live well.
Can you tell the difference between a resident fish and a lake fish?
You can for the most part. This year has probably gotten a little muddied in the water because of the fact that there were so many fish that did stay in here a long time this year. But in general, walleye are kind of like chameleons. You see that as you go all over the country, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they're different color based on the water body that they're in, and the tannic water versus muddy water versus, you know, clear water. I mean, you can see that from the lower bay all the way to the Sturgeon Bay. Those fish out of Door County are super green, dark color, right? That's because that water is much clearer up there. If you get a fish down in the lower bay, they're white belly, green and gold sides. You know, Oconto fish look a slight bit different. You know, in general, there's slight differences. You know, a good example is like if you go over to the Mississippi. Some guys over there have a hard time telling between a walleye and a sauger because those
so
walleye
dark.
get so washed out in color. You know, they're not like that. I mean, not that you can't find one over there that's like a nice green and gold color, but they're in that more stained water all the time, so their body kind of changes a little bit. They're predator fish, so their body adapts to their surroundings a little bit. So if you caught a fish, the way I usually look at it is if you catch one, and I see it every fall, we've had a few of them this year, you get one that's gray. Like if we catch a fish and I pull it in the boat and it's gray in color, chances are that's a fish that's been here a long time, either resident or came up here a long time ago. It's been in this water a lot longer than the other ones. You get them when they look like you just caught them out there on the lower bay, you know, where they're that same color, that green gold color, then you're better off.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does happen. You do find some of those sort of resident fish like that.
But I mean, it's like, how many are actually residents though?
Oh, right, yeah. And again, every year is a little different. I mean, there are years where it just, with the high water we've had, it kind of changed the game a little bit. I think some fish stay up here a lot longer, or even all season more than they had when the water was lower. I mean, I think that's definitely something that's gone on. I mean, anybody who lives in Green Bay knows there are fish in this river all year long. Right. Some years more than others, you know. I think we talked about that last time. I've had a very sustained bite through the whole month of May into June in years past up the river. You know, where in those years you'll hear guys that are opening day, opening week, the weeks after that, they're out on University Bay fishing and complaining they're just not catching fish. Well, for some reason the fish stayed upriver because there was some food up here.
Yeah.
You know, and you come upriver and jig the flats, troll the flats, whatever, and you'll find a whole bunch of walleye up here.
Well, even the Bago system has been going through that the last couple of years.
Yep.
Well, high water, the fish are staying up in the fox and the wolf.
Yep. Yeah, that's why you can't fish memories all the time.
Right.
I mean, sometimes memories are, you know, fishing memories can pay off, but it's funny, the fish are fish. They got tails, they got kind of a mind of their own. They don't always do what you think they're going to do.
Right.
It's the way it works. You just got to try to do your best to predict what they may do.
Right.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do, Travis?
There we go.
What'd you do? Yeah. They're gonna have a hard time getting to you out here.
Yeah.
Have you had it up here where it's like every other cast is a fish?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they'll come and go in waves sometimes like that too. When they're moving up the feed or sliding back.
All right, so high skies like this, you often hear about walleyes like it cloudier. Is that true in most statements or not really?
I would say in general, yes. But you know, you can always find some fish somewhere that are willing to bite. I mean, there's always going to be a feeding school somewhere or a fish that's going to want to bite. You know, 90% of the time. Some days you got to work at it a little more. You know, if you get those kinds of conditions. But I mean, I've certainly had very weird, unpredictable days, right? Where, I mean, for example, you know, a day where you get in the boat and you head out and it is flat calm, sun's already up, and you're thinking it's just going to be a struggle. You're going to ride the struggle bus all day, and in 2 hours, I mean, you're done fishing.
You've got your limit. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had it where it's a nice chop on the water, or you know, that theory like, oh, the wind picked up a little, the fish are going to get active, right? And it's just totally shuts it off.
Right.
Or just doesn't happen. You're like, I don't get it. It should be, there you go, some zebras.
It is, yeah. Well, if I was targeting invasives today, I'd be doing really well.
Next to goby.
This was like right in the chompers.
Yeah, you pull.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. We were spoon fishing on the bay, and he was just crushing goby.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't take much.
Yeah, I'm done. That one was enough.
surprised we haven't pulled a walleye out of one of these little seams here.
Yeah, that's right up that seam there.
When you cast right behind that one, you can feel that eddy as soon as you start pulling. It's almost like you hit slack water. It's tight. The line gets really tight.
Well, I'm trying to get cadence down too, because sometimes when I'm cranking too fast, I'm not hitting rocks as much.
Right. Yep.
So you said you got openings yet this year for this kind of stuff, or are you booked
Absolutely.
solid?
No, I got lots of openings yet. The next 2 weeks, I've got a lot going on, but after that, I've still got quite a few openings scattered. And I usually I've got a bunch of sort of regulars that come out and fish this fall bite with me. I haven't heard from a lot of those guys yet. I'm sure they'll start calling. They get the guys that'll put their boats away, and they focus more on hunting, but they want to get out and catch some fish.
Yep.
Usually call and jump in the boat for a morning or an afternoon.
Especially while the unseasonably warm temps are here for us.
Yeah.
We're about 2 weeks away from that rut really kicking off.
Yeah.
If it stays warm like this, I'd rather be out fishing.
Yeah. It'll be interesting the next couple weeks to see what happens with this weather.
Right on that filler.
Yeah, I don't have anything booked Saturday this week, and there's another tournament here Saturday, so I might jump in that. You can sign up at the morning of yet. The fall, what's Rob called? The fall swamp donkey tournament or whatever is this? Yeah.
Yep.
Is this weekend. I think we've got around 30 boats signed up already. If I don't book anything, I promise my wife we would fish it.
Oh, there you go.
So this was the beginning of this year was the year my wife decided she wanted to tournament fish. It actually happened last year, but then the tournaments were canceled, a lot of them early on.
Yep.
Like back in, spring pre-COVID, we signed up for the Fox River Spring Classic, which is usually an early May tournament here. And because she was asking about fishing a tournament with me, I'm like, we can do that. And they got canceled with COVID. So then this past spring, we were going to sign up again, and they didn't hold it. The guys that are running it kind of are deciding they want to retire from it. The restaurant that they hold it at didn't want large groups in the spring still.
Makes sense.
So it got canceled again. So she was kind of bummed out. So we actually signed up there's a new little series here up in Green Bay this spring that popped up. It's called the Duck Creek Walleye Series. And but some local guys out of Swamico, $80 entry. And they got 50 boats a tournament.
Nice.
They had 3 tournaments, and then there was at the end of the year, they awarded a Team of the Year type prize to the point standings leader, etc. And they had the Great Lakes sport fishermen did a little cookout after each event.
Yeah.
At the weigh-in. So it was pretty nice. They used the Fish Donkey app, so it was all CPR,
That's cool.
So I told my wife, let's sign up and fish that.
Yeah.
So I did. We fished the first one. I didn't sign up for any of the other ones. She was instantly addicted.
Just walleye or tournament fishing.
Tournament fishing, yeah. Being the Fish Donkey app when there's a leaderboard change, it makes that little fish donkey noise or a little donkey noise. So we came in the river and tried to fish a few spots doing that three-way rigging that I did for head-to-head.
Rigging, yep.
And the bite just wasn't happening. I said, let's go out and troll. So we ran out to an area where I've caught fish in the past. There was nobody fishing there. A lot of guys were like on Frying Pan Shoal and up the shoreline. So I said, let's just work this for a little bit. Scanned it. There was a few fish around. So we started trolling, and we got like a 24-incher, a 23-incher, and then we got like a 28. And then we had like another 25 or 24 or something like that, and then we got another 28.
Wow.
So we jumped into first place. Instantly hooked. She's like counting the prize money. She's counting the money for big fish. I'm like, there's like 5 hours to fish yet. I'm like, it was very comical. And for me anyway, I got a kick out of it. But so then we ended up, throughout the day, got bumped down. We ended up 4th, which we still cashed a check.
Yep.
So she was all excited, you know, and all grinning ear to ear. So I said, well, she wanted to fish the rest of them. Well, I looked. The rest of their dates fell on days I already had booked for trips.
Oh, man.
So we couldn't fish any other ones. So I told the guys that are running it, I'm like, if you get us the dates early this year, I'll
open up some time.
Right, I'll make sure to block that off. So they put their dates out a couple weeks ago, like a month ago. So we're going to try to fish all of them next year.
That's great.
The best part was, and she'll probably deny this, but she was like, we should do this professionally together. I'm like, what? She's like, isn't there like a circuit we can fish together? Like, what do you mean? Like the Masters Walleye Circuit or something? Yeah, something like that. Can we go out and do that together professionally?
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I said, well, let's play this out. I pay a $750 entry fee for you and I to fish an MWC tournament or whatever it costs. And we show up at the landing that morning and the wind's blowing at 25. It's rainy. Going to be 4-footers out there. They're not going to cancel the tournament most likely unless it's a small craft advisory. We're going to go. She's like, well, can't you just get a sub for those days? Oh yeah, like I was just in my back pocket.
Yeah,
I got
just phone a friend real quick.
Phone a friend.
Just drive all the way up here. We can go out.
Right.
What car are you gonna go to?
I'm gonna, let's see. You were running that purple one, right?
Yeah, I'm running that purple one. Good looking bait. I think it's not working because it's Viking colors.
That's a good bait usually. Try this. Let's run a Fire Tiger with that.
All right, we're gonna try Fire Tiger.
Run that through there. I'll throw that back in here.
Oh,
I got it.
Butterfingers.
I got it.
My bad.
I might try a purple and white guy here.
I use that as a distraction so I can get out in the water faster, but it didn't work.
Let's try this one. There, we'll make a couple more casts at this. We'll slide back and work around this again. Maybe we'll kind of slide back and work over towards the other spillway.
Okay. I'm gonna lose my sweatshirt really quick. It's getting nice out.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking the bibs off pretty soon here.
All right, everybody, so we'll kind of catch you up with what's going on here. We're obviously out in the Fox River and the pier. We're trying for some fall walleyes. We started with crankbaits. We would caught a couple so far that way. Caught a couple of catfish, a couple of big carp. But we're real close to the dam. Like Bob was saying, you know, Robert's saying, fish the slack water, trying to catch them that way. But do you think we're gonna try a little jigging yet today, or are we gonna stay up?
Okay. No, I think we'll do that. We'll slide back and maybe try it back here or go down river, one of the two.
All right.
Yeah.
So Aaron, if you're listening, buddy.
Oh, these guys got a fish on rail. This guy, there's one guy by himself. I can't tell if there's two in that boat or one.
He's always going for the net.
Looks like he's got the net out.
Yep. I don't think it's the right one.
Yeah, hard to tell.
Oh.
I don't know. It might have been a walleye.
Not a lot of pressure out here today. Pretty good day. Well, let's do this, Aaron. Let's go ahead and run a couple commercials real quick, and then we're gonna fish this a little bit longer. We're gonna try to move down. I'm gonna redo my bike, lose a couple of layers. So we're gonna take a little commercial break and go right back.
Stop into Sportamotive now and get that new Mercury outboard tracker or nitro fishing boat you've been wanting. We offer no haggle, no hassle pricing. Celebrating 36 years in business, we're Sportamotive, your authorized tracker boat dealer.
Do you guys price match? For the love of God, that's like the 15th time today. Matt, I need your help. Matt, I really need you guys to actually like get on a video right now and tell everybody about our price matching, because this is like the 15th message I've gotten today about price matching. So please, for the love of God, make the video.
I don't understand it. I mean, day in, day out, nonstop. Phone calls, messages, Instagram messages, Facebook messages. Do you price match? Can you price match? These guys are having a sale. Those guys are having a sale. Price match this, price match that. We do price match here at The Real Shot. We will price match any of our competitors because we price match. I mean, we're talking price match. Seriously. All these amazing products and all you people care about is price match. We do price match, and that's all I'm gonna say. Get into The Real Shot, bring a competitor's ad, and we will price match. I'm out of here.
Sportamotive, your local tracker boats dealer, wants to get you on the water in style. Stop in or call today and order your tracker boat to assure delivery for the 2022 watercraft season. Stop in.
The Real Shot is Wisconsin's #1 independent outdoors pro shop that specializes in bass fishing gear and tackle. We've got all of the biggest and most sought-after brands in bass fishing all under one roof. Our online shop has a massive catalog of some of the greatest bass products you'll need to find success on the water. We ship fast and nationwide, so head on over and see what we have to offer by visiting www.therealshot.com today.
The Real Shot. Sounds like we've got what you need.
I had a nice, probably 5-pounder break off right at the boat.
Really?
Before he sent me the picture. I've got the net, like I'm gonna go down and get it, and it broke before I even got close.
Was that all fish donkey too?
We do CPR, but we just use, we don't do the app. We've been using like just SD cards. We give them out with bump boards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we're back. Thanks to our sponsors. We just want to go over a couple of things real quick. First of all, we're going to catch up on some of your comments. So Dylan, super fan Dylan Williams, says, I think he's referring to when I switched from my bait caster. He said, did you get snagged or something? Trust, get a line in the water. Yeah, I broke off. And then Jason, we were just talking about that. Jason Goldner actually fished an event next to you this weekend.
Yep.
His comment was, Captain Claus must have had enough fun on Sunday, although the net job has gotten quite a bit better today.
Yeah.
So you're dialed in, and you were just saying you fished an event by yourself on Sunday?
Sunday I did fish the Sheboygan Walleye Cup tournament by myself up here, yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was just me in the boat. Nobody could blame, I couldn't blame the net man. I did blame the net man for a few things, but...
Do you have to like use your sunglasses? God darn it, why did you lose another one?
Right.
And then, let's see here, Sarah. Sarah says, I'm very glad to be sharing with everyone here on this marvelous work. Okay, well that's a spam, so we're gonna finish that one now. No spamming, come on. So a couple things, everybody. Obviously, we got some great sponsors, Sportamotive and The Real Shot. One thing is, too, is we're working now with Relevant for head-to-head and The Real Shot. These are the Relevant sunglasses. We talked about these on PWS. This is a chameleon technology. This is the Navigator frame. I'm really liking them so far. I've had them just about a week. They're really comfortable on my face. And I have a hard time finding glasses that fit my face right. Big nose, small ears, whatever you want to call it. Big ears. I don't know. But anyways, one cool thing is The Real Shot is offering 21% off, and the 21% off is in honor of the 2021 head-to-head PWS series that we just wrapped up. So if you need a nice pair of sunglasses, they're Relevant. Go back to the head-to-head channel. We did some nice talks with Adam Winkleman, the owner of Relevant Glasses. So they have a bunch of different frames that are coming out for 2022. So go ahead and check those out. Again, they're 21% off. The other thing too that I want to talk about is Tyson has been doing a nice job. He's ordered some of this new flannels. These are the TRS flannels. There's 3 different colors. I think this is like a green color. So if you're interested in some of these, they'll be hitting the website really quick. It's nice and warm. It's flannel season, fall's flannel season. So for these, you could actually use TGL15 and take advantage of 15% off the flannels. But again, I'm really liking them. I haven't worn flannels in the longest time, and I feel like I've been missing out. So that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna get right back to hopefully not catching carp or catfish, and maybe try to find a couple of walleyes.
Last week and said he has a hard time finding glasses because he has a head like a baby buffalo.
Baby buffalo. Well, yeah, use that. All right, first cast of the Fire Tiger. I'm gonna hook up.
That's always the worst. You make a nice cast right where you want it and the bait's fouled up.
Yeah. You know, when I go out, I'm usually that angler that now you'll go tomorrow and you'll crush fish. It's like when I'm in the boat, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, they're definitely being a little picky today. I've only had a few other clobbers here.
Are you gonna hit it again?
Yeah, I've had a couple where they whacked it and I didn't.
Just not getting the hooks. Yeah, when they hit it though, they knock slack right in the line.
Yes. Yep. The bigger fish that I boated on Sunday was a 23.5. I felt like I bumped the rock, but there was so much slack line. I'm like, that's a fish. I stuck it, and then right away I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good fish. You could feel it was a good fish, but I had to reel like crazy because he was, coming out of that water quickly.
Travis, think about this, buddy. It was almost, I think it was a year ago this last weekend that we did that hunt with Blake. Yeah.
It was the day after I got that last year.
you were pretty much up in Green Bay from that day on, weren't you?
Yeah. Until end of November.
End of November, yeah. So this is a good opportunity. We've been talking about your openings. Why don't you tell everybody again where they can find all your information?
Sure.
Look at him dead in the eye.
I got my little crankbait out of the current here. I'm going to hook up a fish doing this.
I know, that's why I'm trying to distract you again.
You can give me a call. My cell is 920-360-2904. You can find me on Facebook, Fin Fanatic Charters. I'm on Instagram, Fin Fanatic Charters. You can go to my website, finfanatic.net. You can contact me through there too. You can also email me at finfanaticcharters, all one word, at yahoo.com.
And now you're also gearing up, like we talked about, for whitefish season.
Yeah, whitefish season's coming. It's going to get here sooner than later. So, yeah, I think 12. I think I was running 12 shacks last year, if my math is right. Can accommodate groups of 2 up to 6 or bigger. I mean, really. But I got shacks. Some shacks that hold 2 people. Some shacks that hold 4 people. Some that hold 6 people. I'm not sure if I'm going to add one or not this year. That's been in the discussion. I might come December build another one and throw it out on the ice, but we're gearing up. I got rods on order, baits on order to add to the repertoire, but yeah, it's hopefully one of these years we can actually have a season that starts earlier January and lasts through March. Yeah, instead of these seasons that don't really get kicked off to the end of January, you know. Our ice has been so sketchy the last couple years, but one of these years it'll cycle around and we'll get a really long 8-10 week season.
I recommend that if anybody's looking for just a super fun ice fishing trip.
Yeah.
I was kind of like a naysayer about whitefish. I'm like, ah, oh, man, really? But then after I've done it a couple times, it is a blast.
It is. Yeah, it certainly is. And they're good to eat. I mean, table fare is excellent for them. But even if you don't want to keep them, you can release whitefish. I mean, they'll swim back down. Most days the activity level is pretty high.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's fishing, so there are certainly times where it's a struggle. I run 3 different formats. I do rentals, I do semi-guided, and then fully guided. So you got 3 different packages to choose from. I think we're going to offer a special this year again. We did it last year and the year before, and we had a few people take us up on it, where we do, if you book 2 days, the first day is fully guided, the second day is sort of semi-guided, but we throw in the hot lunch that we do for the fully guided.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep. So our fully guided, we cook them hot brats and burgers usually. I do a few corporate groups where we cook them, like try to cook whitefish out on the ice
right away.
Yeah, we'll take some of their catch, clean it, or have it cleaned at the fish cleaner, and then cook it for them fresh for lunch.
The cool thing that like Travis and I found too is, the clear water, and it's a good bite too.
Oh yeah.
They hit it hard.
Yeah.
And it's not that tough to fish them. Like, you got to get the cadence figured out,
right,
how to jig them up.
Very technique driven.
But when you figure it out and there's fish around, they almost hit every single drop.
Yep.
Hypothetically, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are certainly days where they're very picky.
Yeah.
And the bite can be tough. I would say there isn't any day that I don't feel like I could put 10 fish on the ice. That's whitefish. I mean, if I grab a rod and I work, even if the bite's a little slow, if you work the technique right and you pay attention. I mean, we try to tell people that too. We have plenty of people that come out and think it's just going to be drop and reel, which it can be.
Right.
But if you're doing that, and at the same time you're enjoying a beverage every other drop and reel, as I tell people all the time, as the pile of empties grows, the pile of whitefish doesn't grow as fast.
Right.
Your response time to the hook set and feeling and seeing the bite becomes less and less.
Oh yeah, because it's a hit right away.
Yeah.
You got to get on it. It's not like you can feed them line when they hit it.
Right.
You got to be on it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I had people always want to do things like bring out like their tip-ups and try for whitefish. I'm like, you know, I'm not saying you can't do it or that you won't catch one that way, but it's going to be pretty rare. And you know, like automatic fishermen and some of those kinds of things. I did have a guy last year. He fished with me for 3 days. He was by himself. The first day, he had an automatic fisherman in the one hole in his shack, and that automatic fisherman caught like 8 out of his 10 fish.
Really?
I was really stunned. I'm like, I can't believe that you actually caught fish on it and consistently like that. And then the next day, no. You know, they got either a little pickier or got wise or whatever it was. They just weren't as aggressive. And I mean, you get the right conditions, you're going to catch them no matter what. But
So was he just dropping down like a wax worm for that then?
I don't remember what he had on there. If it was just a little minnow down there, or I don't remember. But he did catch him on that automatic. Mike, if Mike's watching, he probably remembers what the guy, because Mike was talking to the guy. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. And I think day 2 and day 3, he didn't have any fish on it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, a lot of that is just, you gotta be there for the hook set.
Right. I mean, sometimes the bites are more subtle, you know, and even when you're working the right plastics and that bite still can be subtle enough that if you don't get it to get on it, you're not going to get the fish. They're not an aggressive feeding fish, right? They don't, if you've ever watched them on camera, they don't ever come in, grab a bait, and then swim off. You know, you watch a pike on camera on a tip-up, they may look at the bait a bunch, but when they decide to commit, they grab it and go. You know, pike don't do that, or I mean, whitefish don't do that. They suck it in, spit it out, suck it in. They just do that. They'll constantly do that. All right, we're gonna work our way across, keep fishing here.
There was a year when this froze over, and a buddy of mine. There you go.
That's a walleye.
New net.
There we go.
I still gotta knock him off. Oh, he almost.
A jumper. He's a jumper.
Here we go.
There we go. Oh, little guy. Nice.
Looks like the purple color just took off.
This one's a little more purple and white. You got the bait all wrapped up on him now. Caught in the net. Get out of there. He had that whole thing sideways up in his face.
God, they're good looking fish.
Kind of almost T-boned it coming out of there. That's a nice 17 inch or 16. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Nice job.
Nice color. I'll throw them in the hold. Yeah, that was on the kind of purple. I don't know if this is like a version of an Uncle Rico with like a little sparkly tail, but purple with that little shiny tail on them. But, you know, a lot of white in there. That shad mimicking color.
Nice job, man. Yeah, so anyways, like I was saying, we came up here ice fishing, and I think we were around in this area over
probably
here.
Back by Voyager Park.
And
This won't freeze solid up in here really, but
and we were moving around, and we got to a spot, like I said, probably over there more.
yep.
And I could just see these fish
All right.
just going crazy. It almost looked like you're looking in a fish tank, and it was just whitefish after whitefish.
Yeah.
And we caught a couple on real small plastics, but God, it was a lot of fun.
We they come up here to spawn in the fall. Usually we get the water's still not cold enough yet, but sometime maybe I've seen them the end of October. I don't think we'll see them this year, but sometime in November we'll start to see them show up, and then they'll spawn late November, December up here. And then they're going to head back out. Some of them will stick around. Sometimes they'll hang out if there's something to eat and poke at it. A lot of times they bug out. But we'll get them jigging for walleye. You can almost always tell when you got a whitefish poking at it. You're throwing a hair jig back there, and you snap that hair jig, and all of a sudden you're like, tum, tum, and you set the hook, miss it. You feel it again, you set the hook, miss it. You're like, eh. Then eventually you probably just snag one, and then you're like, oh, these are all a bunch of whitefish back here.
Well, last year we were in sheephead really well.
Yeah.
On up there.
Yeah.
Caught a lot of sheephead snap jigging. Those hair jigs, that's a fun way to fish them too. So when somebody's booking a trip with you now, is it, okay, what do you want to do today? Do you want to go cast cranks, or do you want to go throw hair, or what do you want to, or is it just mostly they want to just do whatever they're going to catch them on?
Like this fall time, usually I'll tell them straight up. I said, well, here's kind of what's been going on. We're probably going to either go cast cranks for part of the day and then do hair, or jig or downriver, or if the jig bite gets going really strong, I say we're just going to flat out go jig. We're going to go snap jig stuff.
Yep.
I've got a few customers that know that they, do like to come up and do this, and no matter what, they want to come up here and throw cranks.
Just throw crankbaits.
Yeah. Whoop. And you can throw cranks all over back here and catch fish. You can work your way around. We're kind of working a little bit calmer water behind the spillway right now as we're sliding across here. Well, like I said, when we started to, you can throw hair and stuff like that up here too. You're better off throwing it downriver, but you can throw it up and you'll get snagged up, but you can most of the time pop it out. But you can cast hair back here and work and catch fish doing that. I mean, it looks like some of these guys over here doing like jig and minnow. There's a boat over there with a minnow bucket hanging out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep.
What time is it getting to be already?
We gotta be 9.
Is it 9 already?
9:20.
Holy man.
Mackerel.
Where's the morning going?
Man, just slide over.
Let's do this. So I will announce the winner of that Savage rod. Now let me finish this cast. Let me try to catch something quick, and then we'll announce it. So I appreciate everybody that subscribed. So the challenge was subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once we went over 100 on YouTube, we were going to give away a Savage 7-foot medium spinning rod. So we hit over that number. One thing I'll just remind everybody is I'm going to do another one of these. I'll think of something to give away, but try to make your page public so I can see it. YouTube has funny things about how many pages you can see if it's public or private. So go ahead and make your page public. Get around you here quick. And then, is it sounding bad behind me? Okay. So, I do appreciate everybody that subscribed and went through and randomized some of the names, that for the people that subscribed. And Travis, if you wouldn't mind, can you hand me that rod real quick? I know you're busy doing about other. Okay. All right. So again, this is a product thanks to the Reel Shot. This is squad rod from Savage Gear. Like I said, this is a 7'1" medium fast action. Really great rod. I've been kind of bass fishing it a lot. We're gonna maybe use it the end of the day today, snap jigging, hair jigs. Right here, so you just get the rod. But the winner of when I randomized the names was superfan Dylan Williams. You are the winner of the Savage Gear Squad Rod. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just message me on the Guided Life Facebook page, and I'll get connected with you and we'll get you your rod. So I appreciate everybody that subscribed, and if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and keep it rolling. We're going to have another little giveaway for try to get that page growing over there on YouTube. I personally, like even with head-to-head stuff, I like to watch it on YouTube, so that way I can fast forward and you don't get some of the other stuff that you get on Facebook. So if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's keep it growing. I appreciate every single one of you. But again, Dylan Williams, you have yourself a Savage Gear Squad Rod. It's a really nice rod. It's got a nice backbone to it. It's pretty stiff. I used it quite a bit. Snap jigging some bigger plastics this summer. So I had a lot of fun with it. So hopefully, Dylan, you have some fun with it. Hooked up again. And that's a perfect segue to grab the net. If I can hook this up. Another Walterson?
I think so. It's a good one, actually. This is not a little guy.
No?
Nope.
So don't knock him off. Oh yeah, that's a nice fish. Good fish. Yeah, that's a pretty one.
Yeah, and this is about, I mean, you can certainly find fish up to 28 or so up here in the fall. I haven't seen many bigger than that. But you can get some of these nice quality fish up here.
I'm gonna get a picture with you with that one. For social media!
I mean, you crushed that pretty good.
Yeah, you hit that bait well. Now to me and you, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Nice.
They come on this thing too.
It's pretty good.
I could just send it to you.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a nice
Here
chunk.
we go, ready? Nice.
We'll throw this guy back.
Yeah, well,
Oh, settle down.
it's a healthy one, nice and fat.
Yep, they definitely get chunky when they
Feeding up.
get up here and start feeding like that. Oh, settle down, settle down. You tear up my crankbait on me.
Ah, it's just a tank.
Jeepers. Yeah, he wasn't gonna come off, I don't think. You got her good up in there. There we go. Jeez. There we go. And the fishing line caught up in him. All wrapped up in there. There we go. Let go.
Oh,
There you go. It's a nice one. It's 22, 20, maybe 23, 22. Fat though.
just a chunk.
Nice and healthy. See
You
you, girl.
need your fancy bait remover.
Uh-oh. Hung up?
Hung up.
Get to see the remover tool in action maybe, huh?
Seems to be a lot more birds coming over here too, so maybe there's more minnows on the fly.
All right. Still stuck?
Yep.
Where are we at? There it is. Sometimes we can get over the top of it and it'll pop out
Pop
too.
it out, yep. See the line? This one was not swimming, so I...
I had a trip, 2 weeks ago now, I think. It wasn't last week, before last. I had 3 days with the same 4 gentlemen. And kind of overshot it here a little bit.
Just don't want to snap your rod off.
Here, I see.
I want to break it. I mean, I got into it pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I had 4 gentlemen for 3 days fishing. Older. One gentleman was probably 80-ish. And there we go.
Booyah!
For the full 3 days, he never put a line in the water. He just wanted to come out and enjoy the ride, basically.
Really?
It was almost, I laughed because what it reminded me of was, it was like he had some kind of get out of jail free card from wherever, like away from his wife
From
or whatever.
home or...
He sat in the seat and watched everybody fish and smoke cigarettes and put down little shot bottles the whole day.
For 3 days straight?
It was a super nice group of guys. It was just kind of funny. Great guys. They said they want to come back next year. Just awesome guys. Just every one of them had a little quirk of some kind that was just made it too much of a funny trip. One gentleman only wanted a vertical jig. By day 3, I finally had him casting. And by day 3, he finally caught 2 walleye.
Well, that's what I think is awesome. I mean, just the versatility that you offer.
Yeah.
If you don't want to cast, if you just want to enjoy a ride, you have all those options for people.
There's no doubt about it.
I got another hooked up over here.
Oh, yeah.
White window.
Yeah, that fish came right at the back of this little tail race-ish water here off those rocks.
I don't think that's a walleye.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looks a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the one that I caught.
Yeah, slightly suspicious. I don't know.
Maybe it is a walleye.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
It is a nice fish, ain't it?
No.
Was that
Maybe a little pike or something? I don't know. He decided not to touch it, whatever it was.
right?
Well, we can either go across and try that current water, or we can slide down and try slide down river, or maybe go run down and do some hair jigging.
I'm in your boat. You're the captain.
I say we go beat the water over there with some cranks.
All right, let's do it. Are we gonna motor or just...
No, we're just gonna move over that way. I haven't fished over that way in about a week. Very similar. There's a tail race that you get that current coming through with no spillway open. We can work into the edge of it. And might even catch a smallmouth on the way over. Did get a really nice 4.5 pounder
up in here.
Up in here when the water was still pretty warm.
Travis, let's switch for a while. Yep, I want to see if you got a little hotter hand than what I got rolling today.
Grab that rod with the racy shad on it down there, Travis, the one closest to you.
So let's do this. Aaron, I know you're listening. Let's go to another commercial break. So what we're going to do is Travis and I are going to switch. He's going to go ahead and start fishing for a while. I want Travis to get some time. Travis has been so great to, just help me with the guided life. I love traveling with him. So I want Travis to get some airtime. And it worked out well last year. We actually got Travis out here fishing with Robert, and he started catching some good fish. So we're going to switch it out. So go ahead, Aaron, run some commercials. Again, thanks to Sportamotive and The Real Shot. Hopefully we can work with companies like Relevant and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be right back, and you're going to see Travis up front, and I'm going to be behind the camera.
Stop into Sportamotive now and get that new Mercury outboard tracker or nitro fishing boat you've been wanting. We offer no haggle, no hassle pricing. Celebrating 36 years in business, we're Sportamotive, your authorized tracker boat dealer.
Do you guys price match? For the love of God, that's like the 15th time today. Matt, I need your help. Matt, I really need you guys to actually get on a video right now and tell everybody about our price matching, because this is like the 15th message I've gotten today about price matching. So please, for the love of God, make the video.
I don't understand it. I mean, day in, day out, nonstop. Phone calls, messages, Instagram messages, Facebook messages. Do you price match? Can you price match? These guys are having a sale. Those guys are having a sale. Price match this, price match that. We do price match here at The Real Shot. We will price match any of our competitors because we price match. I mean, we're talking price match. Seriously. all these amazing products and all you people care about is price match, we do price match. And that's all I'm gonna say. Get into the Reel Shot, bring a competitor's ad, and we will price match. I'm out of here.
Sportamotive, your local tracker boats dealer, wants to get you on the water in style. Stop in or call today and order your tracker boat to assure delivery for the 2022 watercraft season. Stop in.
The Reel Shot is Wisconsin's #1 independent outdoors pro shop that specializes in bass fishing gear and tackle. We've got all of the biggest and most sought after brands in bass fishing all under one roof. Our online shop has a massive catalog of some of the greatest bass products you'll need to find success on the water. We ship fast and nationwide, so head on over and see what we have to offer by visiting www.thereelshot.com today.
The Reel Shot. Sounds like we've got what you need.
It's yourself. Pretty sure you're live. You're live?
Welcome back to the Guide Life, and I am going to show Matt how to catch walleye now.
Nice.
It is.
We're moving
I might
over a
snag
little bit.
couple, not snake, but catch a couple carp.
You're gonna catch it.
Cool. There's a rock.
It's like me with Mike Hansen.
I'm gonna go.
We're gonna hit stuff.
Yeah, we can always hit stuff.
I didn't think he was talking about hit stuff like that, but
Ran over pretty much everything.
I was pretty sure his prop was going to be completely gone.
And it's re-anchoring right now.
Looks like a lot of these boats out here are unsure about the power line thing still. Because when you first talked about it, I looked back and everybody hung right along that power line still.
Well, guys, there is kind of a, like again, we talked earlier, this is like levels, right? So that secondary level where these guys are anchored and jigging can produce some fish. The fish will kind of come in and out of there and hold up. But I think there are guys that, I mean, I've had guys yell at me in the fall. Like, hey, you can't go up there.
Yeah, when you said that, I turned around and looked and everybody was right around that line.
Right, right. All right. Let's try this one. These are, I think you guys are selling these here jigs.
Oh yeah, those are ones from the Mississippi River area.
No, so these are from On the Fly. I think he is producing another order of like, I don't know, what he told me, 500, 600, 700 jigs for a Reel Shot right now.
Nice.
He sold some there last year, several batches.
Yeah, and Tyson is doing a great job of bringing in, but I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on it.
Yeah, this is his stuff. I've been using them. A lot better paint job. They hold together a little better. I mean, when you're in rocks, they're going to get banged around anyway. But yeah, these same thing, half ounce with a stinger hook on it, but locally, made locally.
Yeah, they're great looking baits. All right.
Actually, I got a box with his logo on it up there. I can show you. Because I know for sure he's selling them with you guys. His little business really took off here, Travis. I'm going to jump in this locker for just a second. Right here. That's his logo, On the Fly. Yep. Yeah, Brian Tesh and his son Ben, it started as a job for Ben to make money for college, I believe.
Really?
And it's just taken off with both walleye and bass pair this year. And they make a good product, you know. It's got good colors. He's done a few customs for me. He's done some customs for other guys. Just kind of give them a suggestion and makes up a batch for me that doesn't have, that he's selling everybody else. But regardless, it's just a better paint job. I mean, I still have some from the Mississippi River folks, you know, because those are tried and true. And I've got hundreds of those from buying them from over the years. But yeah. Yeah, I know there's a whole bunch of different guys that are buying stuff from him.
I was just checking that rock.
You're just checking the rock there?
Yeah.
Come on this side, Travis, and cast over into this current over here. Just cast right out into that current and work the bait back.
Surprised there's not people fishing from the shore over there. Or is that private?
No, they can. I mean, that is a fishing pier, right? You can come over the lock. There's a bridge.
Oh, yeah.
You can work your way down, and then you can see there's steps to go right down, and then you can walk along that and fish. Guys will walk this and then kind of come down through here. You're technically not supposed to fish off this walkway, although people do once in a while.
So earlier, that's all I was looking at was that one.
Yep.
It's pretty high up to be fishing.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't even see this one.
It is, but you will have people that'll decide. Oh, you're good.
Castle.
You'll have people that decide they want to fish off it. I was out here with a gentleman fishing a couple weeks ago. I hooked a carp coming underneath the bridge. It was a buffalo carp, actually, and it came out of the water. And as it was coming downriver, I noticed that my line made like a 90-degree bend. And I looked up, and there were two kids up on the bridge fishing, and I had hooked he had hooked my line with the carp on it. So I had to kind of hand over hand the fish in, like a 12, 13-pound carp, unhook it, and then cut his bait off and then retie it for him. It was actually pretty comical.
You do it all.
Yeah, right? I felt bad if I would just, I mean, some guys might have just thrown it in the water or whatever. I'm like, I retied a nice Palomar knot on there for him and send it back out.
Look at that, it already went through something.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little scale.
A little scale.
Oh, yeah.
Pier jig.
Is it a walleye scale?
Yeah, it looks like to be about a 4.5.
I'm sure Dylan's responded by now.
I didn't see one yet. You got to re-announce that every once in a while.
Oh, that's a rock.
Yeah, you got to announce it. Dylan's the big tech.
Put the snot to that one, huh?
Yeah,
That's all right.
keep on in that one.
Dylan, just so you know, if you haven't heard, you won the rod. Matt's flannel TRS that he's wearing.
Flannel too? They got carp slime. No, but yes.
You won his shirt from the carp shoot.
Yeah, I gotta go fish out. That's my favorite Sportomotive shirt.
Well, did you get one with some carp slime on it, Dad?
Oh, man. We went and shot Asian carp down in Illinois.
Yeah, I saw some of that.
Hey guys, if you want a snack, I stole some Bridgeford from Kyle. Bridgeford. Stole them. Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought you were waiting for me to give you some jerky.
The Bridgeford is my favorite jerky. Out of all the store-bought stuff you can. I still like my venison jerky, but.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if I gave you the microphone so I can back here and eat.
My mom better be watching, because during the head-to-head one when I had to weigh a fish, my mother-in-law was like, Kyla's seen you come on to weigh a fish, and stopped everything she was doing and sprinted in her little wheel cart over to the TV.
Oh, no way, really? Your daughter did?
Yeah.
Well, now she hopefully catching fish. Everybody's doing it nowadays, so I mean...
Catching fish?
Yeah. So last time we were out with you, Robert, you were telling us about some interesting stories, you know, hooks in the hands and people. Anything happened last year since the last time we seen you?
Oh, missed it. Missed the fish. You know, it's been a pretty clean year as far as hooks in myself. I haven't had much of that. The trip with the 4 guys for 3 days, I got hooked in the hood twice that day, but nothing in the skin.
Yeah.
I got a crankbait in the hood twice. That's about it. But I did stab myself. I'm still healing that wound up. I self-inflicted knife wound on the back of my hand. I know people that follow me on social media saw that. I had 4 stitches.
Yeah, what happened there?
I was filleting some fish for one of our corporate outings. Actually, it wasn't a corporate outing. It was a dual trip with another guide, and we were cleaning some fish for the customers. And I just put the fillet knife straight into the back of my hand, stabbed it in there about an inch or so. And I mean, the real, if you want to call it funny part of that is I knew right away I was gonna have to go get stitches. I'm like, this isn't gonna be good. I went home, told my wife, I said, yeah, I stabbed myself again. So I did that a few years ago. I did the exact same thing. And
oh, that one felt like
when I went to the urgent care or whatever it was to get the stitches, the RN that prepped me, when she walked in the room, you know, they ask you a bunch of questions about different stuff. She's like, well, why are you here? I said, well, I have a self-inflicted knife wound. I stabbed myself with a fillet knife cleaning some fish. And she looked at me and she goes, were you here a couple years ago for that? I said, I was. So she pulled it up on the computer. She goes, oh yeah, in 2018, I was the same nurse that prepped you for that one.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now she definitely knows you better.
Right, yeah.
That's what I have, one of those scars. See it?
Yeah. Yeah, the last one was a little further back. This one was a little further up the thumb. One of these days I'm going to stab myself and cut a tendon in there or something, I suppose, but...
See, when your knife is so sharp like that, you don't even feel it.
No, I mean, it hurts, obviously, but it's not like excruciating pain. Hurts worse when they stick the needle in there to numb it to stitch it. I did have a different LPN that stitched me up than the last time. She was fairly new to the area. She'd moved here from Oregon.
They're probably like, get to know this guy. He comes in here every so often.
You don't carry a kid in here yet?
No, I should. Well, she, when they did finish the suture, the LPN's like, you want your tools? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, we don't sterilize these. They're, oh, you got them? Oh no! They're one and done, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, you can have them. You paid for them. I'm like, okay. So, other than the needle, you know, I got the forceps and the scissors and the tweezers and the little kit that they open up.
Never have too many of that kind.
Yeah, absolutely. She's like, you're a fisherman. You can have a use for that, right? I'm like, oh, sure.
That was a rock.
You got him?
No, that was a rock. Last one wasn't.
I would say that last one was not a rock.
No.
Try working that hair towards that walkway, Matt.
Okay.
Like work it back up in the current.
some of those feel weird. Like that one when you guys were talking about the slack in the line when they hit. That's what that just felt like. And I didn't even... Like they just come up and nose it.
Whoa.
Phil, deeper to that side?
Yes. Yeah, from the years of this being a constant flow, it's like a trough, a little bit of a trough through here.
You guys were talking about crankbaits earlier in McConaughey. Those guys are trolling over the treetops.
Yep.
And I asked one of the guys at the resort that was launching a bunch of the guys, I'm like, do guys go, because they spearfish or dive for walleye there too. I'm like, so did they swim to the treetops and get all the baits? He said, no, it's easier on on a strong south wind. After it's over, you'll see headlamps everywhere on the shore.
Oh,
so
sure.
guys filling up 5-gallon buckets.
Oh, finding bait?
Yeah. Said it's pretty easy for them to fill up a whole 5-gallon bucket.
I mean, springtime, this will get loaded with guys. There you go. This will get loaded with guys up here casting cranks, obviously below the power line in the spring, but here, I'll swing on this side. There he is. In the mouth. Oh, and he came off.
Out.
Nice.
Tension on that so it doesn't get tingling. Oh.
I mean, you'll have guys all night long up here fishing, you know, below the lines in the spring. But and there's a pretty good faction of people that wishes they would move the boundary back a little bit. I'm one of them. I don't know why we have to have the boundary. I mean, move it back further and let the fish be up here in the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, we catch them downriver. You don't have to beat on them when they're actually trying to spawn. I wouldn't mind seeing that on a lot of the tributaries. I mean, that's kind of a controversial thing, but I mean, I get the opportunity to go out and fish, you know, stream fish and stuff, but you know, Oconto, like the Stiles Dam, they could make a boundary at the bridge or something to help those fish out a little bit. Because I mean, regardless, if you're not, I'm not saying everybody's up here snagging fish, but it's going to happen when they're in here that thick. You know, you're bound to snag a few. Yeah. So I mean, it's just it wouldn't be a bad thing to see that changed, but who knows if it will. Yeah.
Nice.
What is that on the top?
He's got a little bit, so this is like part of a little cold water wart starting. They get that when the water cools off here in Green Bay. Some of the fish will get these little, that's right here, it's a little cold water wart.
Yeah.
And then they'll carry that through the winter sometimes, and spring it'll fall off when the water warms again. You can just see a little goofy thing on them. That's all it is. All right. I got it, we can sneak around you.
Must be all in my technique.
It is.
It's all in the technique. Yeah.
Yep.
Rock bouncing.
That felt a lot bigger than what it was. We got into that current.
Yeah, I get in the current, they definitely feel bigger. All right.
Nice fish.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of super crazy stuff this year. It's just been, in general, crazy. I mean, some of the bites I was on, I'm a big fan of not being on like a huge community bite. That's a bad word, but like
Just doing your own thing or getting away from people?
Well, yeah, get away from people a little bit. I mean, and there's times where you have to jump in the pool, you know, I mean, there's no doubt about it when you're guiding. Oconto's a good example. When that, like, early August, you know, end of July, early August, that Oconto shoal just fired like crazy, and there was about a 3-week stretch where, and you know, last year was the same thing, but it was like a 3-week stretch where it was just, it looked like you took all the boats out of here from the spring and put them on the shoal. Oh, there's a fish.
Good jump. Oh, I thought it jumped. You need the net?
I'll grab him here. Got him. There we go, another little guy. You swing him right up here, Travis. I got it. Cool. Yeah, when that bite was going, I really tried, I hate to say avoid it, but I was trying to avoid it at all costs. You know, because it just gets to be kind of crazy. And there's nothing wrong with going out there and catching the fish, you know, and it is what it is. But eventually I had to break down and spend about a week over there. Well, I mean, like the bite I was chasing on the east shore, you know, winds will shift the water temperatures a little bit and cause things like that to slow down. And it seemed like some of the fish on the east shore that I was chasing evaporated a little bit, so I was on a multi-boat trip with another couple of guys. Oh, nice little eater. And the guys, 2 of the boats were over there just killing the fish, and we got groups of guys that are all together, and said, okay, I'll come over there. And so I hit it for about a week, and that was enough.
Yeah, right.
Then I went and found some fish somewhere else again. I mean, combat fishing is one thing, but try to avoid it if you can. I always do. Try to. Some days you can't. But like that rigging technique, you know, I just did a couple seminars in the last few weeks where I talked about that a little bit. I use that as a scouting method too. Like I literally scout as we're fishing, right? So we're working a structure, I'm watching the locator, we're either catching fish or marking schools of fish. And then if we mark heavy concentrations, then you can anchor by them and cast for them, right? But you get the best of both worlds. You're looking for fish at the same time you're fishing. You know, and some days you never leave the tactic because the fishing's too good. You know, when you're dragging a rig around the bottom like that. But there are some days where the school of fish you hit is so big, you just stop, anchor above them and cast to them with hair, shiver minnows, you know, jigs and plastics. Oh. Blade baits, all that stuff works good.
Is there a casting bite pretty much all summer if you want to cast?
Absolutely, yeah. I think you could probably, I mean, so for me, like this last year, and Offshore Tackle is one of my sponsors, right? But I mean, I trolled a lot in the spring. Once those fish moved out on the bay, we did a lot of trolling. Mm-hmm. But then I usually head to Winnebago for the month of June. That's pretty typical that I'm down there playing around. And I did that this year. The bite, we had all that hot weather in June. It drove our water temperatures here on the bay up faster. And our summer patterns kind of set in a little quicker. So I came back to the bay by like the 3rd week in June. I was back out here on the bay again. And then it kind of got a little bit up and down. But from the time I got back up here to Green Bay in June all the way until a few weeks ago, I didn't put my planer, I shouldn't say I didn't. I did only use my planer boards maybe 3 times. Once was a tournament. Once was I had guys that wanted to learn how to run planer boards. And I want to say the 3rd time might have even been another tournament, or just that was a tough day of fishing. I decided to try to troll some boards.
I might have just, did I hook?
Is that me?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Got her?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so that rod in hand bite, you could carry that all summer. Yeah. When the water gets warm and you fish around structure, summer into early fall. There's nothing wrong with, you know, throwing some boards out and trolling, but
I went with a buddy one time on the bay trolling, and we didn't have a very good day, but the boards were more like bombs.
Sure.
When those guys hit them, they just disappear.
And I don't do a lot of harness trolling. I do some, but I don't think I don't think I ran harnesses at all this year. I think it was all crankbaits for me, and that's pretty typical. I side to crankbaits when I'm going to put the boards out. You move a little quicker usually, cover water, a little bigger profile.
Does this get pretty packed up here in the fall?
I mean, it goes up and down. Like today, I would consider things have been a little weird. You know, again with that warm temperatures, hasn't been real busy. I've had a few days where there's a lot of guys jigging back in this zone. That downriver, oops, sorry, Travis. This downriver bite hasn't kicked in a lot, so there haven't been a lot of guys downriver. But we will have days where it'll be Saturdays. It'll be busy. We want you guys up here playing. Another 15 guys in the bowl over here behind us. You'll have a few guys downriver trolling, a few guys jigging. Then you mix in the musky guys that are out there trolling or casting. Geez, last year we had that huge warm up in early November. Yeah. It was like everybody took their boat out of storage. I came down here on like a Friday and I'm like, holy cow, we unleashed the hounds. there had to have been 100 boats out here. I was like, holy crap. It's like where everybody came from. For 2 or 3 days, it was just a zoo. Yeah, it was fine. There was a lot of fish biting, so it was no big deal.
I'm trying to watch where he's casting from shore, so I don't.
You're probably okay. See, now what you guys have to do is, your wives can see that bridge in the background or this walkway with the locks on it, right? There's a whole bunch of padlocks up there. That's kind of like that place. Right. In France, where everybody locks their love up, you can come here with your wife and put your special padlock on the bridge. I don't know if you can see. Some of them are fancy, like locks that look like hearts and stuff. In the spring, you can come here if the water's clear. You can see all the walleye up here off that walkway. You can see sturgeon, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of sturgeon that'll come up here in the spring and spawn. You can see them all laying in the water. Oh, dirty bugger. That one punched some good slack in the line.
I still have that reaction at ducking whenever I hear it drag. If I lived close to here, I'd be every day just on the bank right here, just for an hour, just messing around.
I had somebody tell me that a couple weeks ago. They said they were two guys, must have been, maybe it was even last week, said he's lucky he didn't go to college in a town like this that had a place you could just go fish. He said he wouldn't have been doing too good in his classes.
That's what it seems like I did all fall when I was at Stevens Point, was hunt.
Geez, another one just punched it. He punched it and followed the bait. Look at that.
Yeah. You think you get more of them follow the hook when they did that?
Yeah.
Those trebles hanging out there.
Oh, jeez. I wonder if that felt weird.
Mine might just be rocks.
I don't know what that one felt weird. Like I ran across something, but it wasn't a rock. My number one rule on my guide trips is you're not allowed to catch a dead body.
There's no way that. Oh,
If you catch a dead body, we're done. There's lots of paperwork involved.
oh, it is a walleye. Sideways.
Sideways? Is that a sideways one? Oh, yeah, yep. Not in the mouth, Travis.
No.
Yeah, maybe I can go back here and net him quick. He's coming around. Coming in sideways here. Skinny one. He's actually kind of skinny. Oop.
See you later.
At first, I thought it was a little bit bigger. Right away, I could see him skipping across the top.
See, you do have the hot hand. I knew it was going to happen.
What I'm doing different is I'm casting and reeling. My tip of the day.
Listen, Travis's pro tip of the day.
I didn't get that pro tip. That's awesome.
You grab one of those other crankbait rods and pitch it back there in the current and just work it real slow. There are a faction of folks that will come out here and put out planer boards. Well, they'll let the current do the work, right? Run a bait back, put the board on in the current, anchor like this, and let the board drag out in the current, and let the bait drive down in the water column and just kind of wait.
As they're casting? Or
Yeah, sometimes they'll do a little casting or just sit and watch boards.
Huh.
It can be highly effective when there's a lot of current. I mean, the guys that do it, I shouldn't say I've never done it. I certainly have put out a board or two, but I've only caught maybe 1 or 2 fish over the years doing that. But I don't do it consistently. I don't play around with the different baits and different things but you really got to have a lot of current usually to get that effectively going. I mean, that's what it, that must be a flat rock right there I drag across once in a while. It feels weird. They got one behind us there. That little walleye.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's what, a lot of people don't realize that's what planer boards were really invented for. It was for river fishing, you know?
Really?
Sure. Yeah, like the original planer board design was, I believe, was a guy that was, he wanted to be able to put his bait out in the middle of the river from the shore. Somebody will dispute me on that, but they always do.
Yeah, it sounds good if it's not true. It sounds like it.
Right. No, I mean, I that was always my understanding in talking to guys over the years. I mean, that's where they came from.
It would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, last time when we fished and we did a lot of talking about the gobies, right? And
Yeah.
I had made the comment that, king salmon are probably the only species that don't eat gobies. And I did say during the filming that somebody's gonna, I had 2 or 3 comments from guys. They're like, I've definitely cleaned kings that have gobies in them. I'm like, I realize that they probably do eat them if they get around them because they're ferocious eaters, but.
Listen, every myth has got to be debunked.
They're definitely not the most consistent goby eaters. How's that?
You think whitefish is one of those most consistent ones?
Absolutely.
They just go crazy for those things.
Yeah.
It was when you were talking about that technique earlier. I remember Skunkhead got us down on that technique. They worked pretty good.
I actually was talking to him the other day. He's like, if you're heading up north again to go do some whitefishing, let me know. We'll have another day of fishing with Skunkhead, dude. We met a guy, we shared a shack with him.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he had a skunk head on.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to wear it. I'm like, wear it. And it worked for him. I mean, everybody called him skunk head dude the rest of the day. He even named, like, we created an Instagram page for him that day, and that's what his name was.
It's funny.
I think his name is Ryan Conley.
Do your whitefish trips book up pretty far out, or do you end up getting openings here and there throughout the week?
We do get openings, but like right now it's starting to trickle in a little bit. It seems like it's about normal for me to get like one to two phone calls a week or messages about it right now, and then they'll start to gain a little momentum into the end of the year. When the ice fishing equipment hits the shelves more and more, then a few more calls will come in. Then it'll tend to stall a little bit. You know, pre-ice, it'll stall, which I always laugh because I always tell people, like, don't wait. If you want a Saturday, a Sunday, a Friday, don't wait to book your dates. You know by February we're going to be on the deep water most likely. So don't wait if you've got some dates that you want to put on the calendar. Call me, email me, get those going, get your group together now, because if you wait till, end of January to call because you heard the whitefish are finally biting or that we're in deep water, those dates are probably going to be gone.
I think Doug Oler from PA, he was an official this year. He's going to come here to go whitefishing this winter.
Yeah.
Make a couple days out of it. That might have to be a last minute one though.
Yeah, I mean, weekday stuff is easier to get last minute people in, or people that call and want to know if there's something open. Like Friday, Saturday, Sundays, if you're looking for those kinds of dates, you got to call early. And even Thursdays are getting kind of crazy now. I have regulars that come out and fish during the week at times. And
so what's the semi-guided? Is that where you just supply the equipment in the shack? Is that the semi-guided?
Correct, yeah. Semi-guided is, we used to do things a little different. We're changing it up this year. So our rentals are just flat out going to be rentals this year, and I'm trying to get that message across to a lot of the people that have booked with me in the past. We used to do a lot of, I don't want to, for lack of a better word, babysitting or hand-holding at times, and that's just part of it, right? Uh-huh. But we would do rentals, and then I'd do a rental plus equipment for a little extra fee. Well, we'd find ourselves spending a lot of time with the rental people and the rental equipment people retying things, which is part of the game, but we weren't charging enough for that value. But then the side of the coin where we're doing just a rental, I get lots of people that call and say, and we all do, I have my own ice equipment, I just want a shack. I hear whitefishing is fun, I just want to rent a shack and have my own equipment, right? Well, those are the ones that...
Oh, it is the... Man, it
fish,
grabbed it and swam all the way back up.
Yep. There we go. Oh, that guy swiped at it too. Yep. Settle down.
Yeah, he grabbed it and swam back up current with it.
Yeah, it's like that other one we had where he was hooked in the face, like the side of the head and the snout. Ooh, it's tight there. Not working.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice little quality fish. Yeah. But we used to find ourselves, you'd get that story like, oh, I do a lot of fishing and I think I know what I'm doing, and then you'd kind of teach them the technique or try to show them the technique, and within a few hours you realize that they don't quite get it, or they're trying to fish whitefish like they're bluegill, or perch or whatever, or walleye for that matter, and it's just not going to work, right? And no matter what you try to get the program down with them, they struggle, or they bring out their equipment and they don't have anything set up for fishing whitefish in 80 feet of water. Fishing with 8-pound monofilament with, a jigging wrap that's not big because they heard jigging wraps work or whatever. Maybe you get that. You get it out of there.
I almost
need a pliers.
Ice rod set up for that, like length and action.
Yeah, over the years, I've become a fan. I mean, for my stuff, You know, because I've got a lot of people with those rods in their hands. I'm not going to spend, you know, I'm not buying $180, $120 rods to do whitefish. You don't necessarily need that. But you got to have something that's got a good backbone and a nice soft tip to help detect those bites. So I run the St. Croix Mojo rods in a 28-inch length with a medium light. That seems to be a nice balance for whitefish. It's good. It's easy to see that rod tip move. It's a nice backbone when you get a hook into them. They're very durable rods. If you step into my shack, that's almost everything I have. I mean, I've got some older Premiers that we have that we use too, but almost everything is the St. Croix Mojos, that 28 with a medium light. You know, guys will come out with their panfish rods, and when you got the hook set on a whitefish and the rod's bent like that down to the reel, and they're trying, you know, then they keep losing the fish halfway up because you can't get any pressure. You can't keep the pressure on the fish that way. or the bait selection is a little screwy sometimes.
What's your line combo?
Yeah, I run all braid, 6-pound Suffix ice braid, and then we run an 8-pound, sometimes a 10-pound, but mostly 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. You know, the last, you know, whatever, couple feet. We run that fluorocarbon leader. I still am probably one of the remaining guides that does run sliders. A lot of them have gotten away from it. I still think it buys me a few extra bites a day. So I stick with it. Everything I have has got sliders on it.
Explain that.
Sliders, like you've got your jig on the end, and then about a foot up is a small swivel with a little tiny octopus hook above it. And we'll tip that with a little plastic waxy or a real waxy, or somewhat like a little beaver tail plastic. Usually I like the little plastics on there. And that, it's called a slider because it's above the swivel, but it just slides up and down the line. It can. But you know, we tie a fluorocarbon up high above that to the swivel so it can slide on the fluoro. A lot of guys got away from it because they say it gets hooked on the bottom of the hole too much, etc., which it can, but it must be my phone. It's my phone, yeah.
We had one disaster when we were white fishing. The one was that somebody was hooked up and it swam through every hole. And just
oh, sure, yeah. That's a common occurrence on a daily basis. That's why we kind of, one of the reasons we changed our format a little bit to that semi-guided package is $100 a person. But that comes with rod, bait, tackle, and then we focus on you a little bit more, right? We give you the technique, get you fishing, we check on you throughout the day. The rental packages now are, if you say you want to just rent a shack and you're bringing your own equipment, we will get you started in the morning. We are only going to stop back like once during the day to see how it's going, make adjustments, or, you know, we found that we spend a lot of time helping people that just want to do rental that don't bring the right stuff. And we're trying to push everybody to, if you've done whitefish before and you got the gig down and you just want to rent a shack, yeah, absolutely. I mean, rent a shack and come out and fish.
You go.
I have a phenomenal, I consider it a phenomenal story from a trip last year, whitefish fishing. Mike Fearig, that is with me out there, we had a group of guys that were from Minnesota. And nothing against Minnesotans, so if you're from Minnesota, don't start squawking at me. But these guys they booked the trip because they always wanted to come and try Great Lakes whitefish, and they were big Tulubi fishermen. Okay, so I don't know exactly where they fished Tulubi, but they were in Minnesota, they big Tulubi guys. One of the gentlemen was like a retired distributor for like different tackle companies. The son or son-in-law that was with him, I think it was he had two boys with him. One was a son, one was a son-in-law. I think the son-in-law was a former like Gander Mountain employee, right? And then the son that booked the trip was just a big fisherman, big outdoors guy. And he brought like his wife and two little kids with him. And the dad had his wife, grandma, and then the son-in-law had his wife and his daughter, I believe, another little child. And it was like a Wednesday they booked. And we had like 2 other or maybe 3 other groups out that day. And they were insistent on doing just a rental because we have tons of ice gear. That was what they told us. We fish for Tullibee. We have tons of gear. They did have tons of gear. When we went to pick them up, he pulled a big otter sled or whatever out of the back of the truck, full, heaped with equipment, including ice auger, rod cases, and I said, well, you know, we have, the holes are drilled, and if you need to drill holes outside, we have augers out there. You don't need the auger. You don't need all that stuff in there. Just bring your rod cases and your bait and whatever. Oh, I've got all my stuff in here. So we had to drag this sled out there besides all the other equipment that they loaded up in the other machine. Got them fishing. Again, rental only, started them fishing, and then we went about our business checking on other shacks. So as the day progressed, I had one shack that had a limit, 3 guys by 9 o'clock, 9:30, we were taking them off the ice. The shack next to them, somewhere around 10 o'clock, 10:30, before noon, had a limit, we were pulling them off the ice. And they were groups that did like the rental plus equipment stuff. The other shack was out there fishing and eventually got their limit sometime after lunch and we were getting pull them off the ice. The Tullibee guys struggled, constant struggle. And we would stop in and check on them. Like we would jump in the shack like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, well, they're not biting. The fish aren't biting. They don't seem to, you know, react right, whatever. And the one gentleman spent a good 2 hours in the morning adjusting his electronics because he had it set for some kind of shallow water mode or whatever he was fishing Tullibee in. So he spent a good 2 hours trying to get his Humminbird set up to read 90 feet of water or 100 feet of water. And then I sat with him for a little while and watched, and I kept trying to coach him because he kept fishing them up, right? He would see them on the screen and he would try getting above them and jigging them. I'm like, I said, no, you get fish come in, just keep it on the bottom and work the bottom. You gotta work the bottom. Don't come up above those fish. Didn't matter. All day long, it was a struggle. Ride the struggle bus, both groups, no matter how much coaching we did in either shack. We'd walk in with a rod with our stuff on it, and be like, this is kind of what our guys were using over there, and they're done already, you know. Oh, we got something like that. We even offered to loan them a rod to try it. Nope, we got plenty of stuff. They wouldn't do it. I walked into the shack with the 2 little kids, the dad and the 2 little kids, and sat down with them and fished with them. And stuck one, handed it to the little boy, and he reeled it up. Got all excited, took some pictures. Dropped back down, jigged for a few minutes, stuck another one, let the little girl reel it up. At the end of the day, out of all those people, the only 2 fish they took home were the 2 that I caught.
Just goes right back to don't guide the guide.
And the frustrating thing for me was, again, they were nice people, but they wouldn't listen, they wouldn't, you know, and it's fine, but don't expect something else, right? The frustrating thing that got me at the end of the day was the grandfather we were getting ready to load up everything outside, and he was making up all kinds of excuses. Like, it was high pressure today, and these fish don't react like Tullibee, and there was something off, and he had all kinds of excuses, and he said, his final comment to me was, well, they're just not as fun as Tullibee are. And I said, that's right. I said, you know, I actually had 2 shacks over there that limited out hours ago that would probably disagree with you. And he said, well, you know, you probably had them on better waypoints. I was like, all right, load up. It's time to go. I don't get mad at customers. That you don't do that. I mean, you can joke about it later and talk about it, but you experience all kinds of stuff like that guiding. And it was just one of those days, you know. I'm like, the fish were biting. They just wouldn't listen.
Yeah, he's that. I don't want to hook in the hand.
Travis, when you unhook that fish, you got to send us to a quick commercial break. It's almost 10:30, so we're going to wrap up at 10:30. So you got to face and do your best send-off, all right?
All right. I got that.
Was he keeping them, or?
I don't know. How many did we throw in? How many did you catch? Is that you had one snag
3 or
and 2.
4.
Is that your third
I
keeper?
think third.
Yeah, well, you can keep it if you want then.
Yeah.
Throw it back in there. Yeah.
Here, send it.
Because I think we threw back the one that was snagged, right? That was.
Thanks
and then
for
you had
staying
2
long
others.
enough to watch me catch some fish. Once in a while you have to come out from behind camera to do that. But thanks to the Real Shot and Sportomotive, we'll be back in a little bit. See you soon.
I said that when I commented on...
Stop into Sportomotive now and get that new Mercury outboard tracker or nitro fishing boat you've been wanting. We offer no haggle, no hassle pricing. Celebrating 36 years in business, we're Sportomotive, your authorized tracker boat dealer.
Do you guys price match? For the love of God, that's like the 15th time today. Matt, I need your help. Matt, I really need you guys to actually like get on a video right now and tell everybody about our price matching, because this is like the 15th message I've gotten today about price matching. So please, for the love of God, make the video.
I don't understand it. I mean, day in, day out, nonstop. Phone calls, messages, Instagram messages, Facebook messages. Do you price match? Can you price match? These guys are having a sale. Those guys are having a sale. Price match this, price match that. We do price match here at The Real Shot. We will price match any of our competitors because we price match. I mean, we're talking price match. Seriously. All these amazing products and all you people care about is price match. We do price match, and that's all I'm gonna say. Get into The Real Shot, bring a competitor's ad, and we will price match. I'm out of here.
Sportomotive, your local tracker boats dealer, wants to get you on the water in style. Stop in or call today and order your tracker boat to assure delivery for the 2022 watercraft season. Stop in.
The Real Shot is Wisconsin's #1 independent outdoors pro shop that specializes in bass fishing gear and tackle. We've got all of the biggest and most sought-after brands in bass fishing all under one roof. Our online shop has a massive catalog of some of the greatest bass products you'll need to find success on the water. We ship fast and nationwide, so head on over and see what we have to offer by visiting www.therealshot.com today.
The Real Shot. Sounds like we've got what you need.
You might be texting mine.
Yeah, we're live.
All right.
All right, welcome back. We're just gonna go over a few questions here and then end the day. So, first one is from your wife.
Oh boy.
Did you mention having to remove a hook from Paul's hand?
No, I didn't. You asked about hooks. My buddy Paul, actually, I was at home working and I got a phone call. He comes out on this deck over here and fishes once in a while with some of his clients. And I was sitting at home and he called and said, "Hey, are you home?" I said, "Yeah, I'm at home." He's like, "You got time to take a hook out of my hand?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Sure." He came over to the house. I don't live that far away. And he had a husky jerk, or no, it was a Rapala, whatever, minnow wrap, a Rapala minnow wrap buried in his finger from a sheephead that they caught on the deck here. So then I said, well, I'll go get my stuff. We'll do the string trick, pop it out, right? The little string trick to get it out. And as we were getting prepped for that, I looked down at his foot, and he had some kind of tan colored shoes on, and his foot is all full of blood. He's like, I think I must have been bleeding on that, you know? All right, whatever. So we get the hook out. That goes through a little bit of process. We pop the hook out. And I said, well, let's take a look at your foot, right? That looks weird, you know? And he's like, pulls his shoe off. Here, he's got a hole in the top of his foot. And the sheephead, when it fell off the hook, jammed its fin into his foot. And the top of his shoe was all full of blood. So he's walking around, dripping. When I pulled the hook out, he's got blood coming on his finger and a little blood from the foot. He's leaving a blood trail all over my driveway. It's like, go out in the grass. We'll clean that off. Yeah, so I didn't pull any hooks out of me this year. Or customers, I think, but I had to pull one out of my buddy Paul. Way to go, Paul.
So if you're out here on the water and get hooked, you know who to contact.
We saw
Give me a shout.
You help a guy with his electronics. I mean, he's
Oh, yeah, right.
Tying
Yeah.
people up from shore. He's just a helpful guy. See him yet?
Then we got Daryl's heading out to go fishing. And then I got a nice shout out
Well, you got to
for
tell people.
for Brian Tesh, cameraman, old fishing the host, love it.
Brian, nice. He's the hair jig man. That's Brian.
And then there's a couple other comments about you removing hooks. You can't see the bottom part. But, right, if you want to go over your information again too on
Sure.
how people can reach out to you and contact you to schedule an appointment or get hooks removed.
If you need hooks removed, yeah, give me a shout. I've done a few over the years. String trick usually works. It works magic. You can get a hold of me again. My phone number, 920-360-2904. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. That's my cell. If I don't return your call right away, it's probably because I've got a rod in my hand, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Obviously on Facebook, Fin Fanatic Charters. Instagram, same thing. But mostly Facebook. I get a lot of messages through there. You can email me, finfanaticcharters@yahoo.com. And then you can find my website. You can contact me through there at finfanatic.net. So all that stuff is how you can find me. I'm running around out here in the world of social media and on the water. If you see me at a landing, same thing. Say hi, book a trip. Actually, I helped the guy out this morning too with there was a gentleman that launched before us. That machine or their little ticket, he said, was broken. He wanted to know what to do. Like he said, it said out of order and he didn't have a permit. I said, I would just take a picture of the machine that says out of order, launch your boat, and if they give you a ticket, bring them the picture.
Always help it.
Proof. But we just want to thank you for bringing this out today.
Yeah, it was fun, guys.
The Real Shot and Sportomotive. And then I just like to thank Matt and the Real Shot for giving me the chance to go around with you guys and film. It's been a blast getting to know all the guides and what they go through on a daily basis to put people on a great day of fishing or hunting. Then we'll see you on our next trip. Oh, wait, Dylan Williams. Don't forget to contact the Guide of Life on the Facebook page to claim your rod.
Yep, got a nice rod, Dylan.
Follow us on social media at Facebook and on Instagram and YouTube, The Guide of Life.
Perfect.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.